You like being called Tender?
You can call me whatever.
Okay. Oh, well, don't say that, sweetheart.
I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough.
Oh.
Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else.
My goodness, man. My most exciting episode yet. What is this, episode 8, Dave?
Yes.
Look at that. I'm actually remembering episodes. So I'm sitting here with Tender Thomas of the Party Animals, and his life is much bigger than that. That's what this thing's all about. And also Zach, a.k.a. Bam Bam Blankenship. Lefty pitcher. Both were Party Animals. They saw Bam as such a threat, they traded him to the Texas Tailgaters. That's pretty accurate for me.
I'll take it.
I mean, the victors write the history books, right? So we're winning. So thank you both for being here. So I've been doing a lot of promoting about having pro baseball players here. Mm-hmm. But wait, you don't play in the MLB. So how do y'all describe what you guys do?
Well, first, thanks for having us.
Oh, I love it.
And I mean, it's pretty much what you've been calling it, the Gators, tailgaters,
The Gattas.
The Gattas.
Gattas.
The Gattas. I like that.
Well, what I consider we do, it's entertainment baseball, where all we're trying to do is just have fun out on the ball field. Because at the end of the day, everything baseball, softball, it is just a game. And we're just, I mean, I feel like I'm playing backyard baseball with my best friends every day.
You look it too when you're out there.
That's, yeah.
And y'all have a motto as a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would that be, Bam?
Fans first.
Fans first.
Yeah, fans first entertainment. So the goal being to have fun, but to also set an experience where the fans get to have a wonderful time, and everybody that comes there is just because baseball, the average MLB game can be so boring.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours and everything. But the nice thing about baseball and golf is I can fall asleep for a couple innings, get back on, and then it's there. Yeah. You guys, you can't do it.
You
Matter of
fall
fact,
asleep, you miss it.
Well, y'all should start doing close-ups on anybody that falls asleep. They got to be drunk, because to fall asleep if you've never been to Savanah Banana, Party Animals, it's called the Savanah Banana Organization, isn't it? Really, technically,
But it's fans first.
Fans first organization.
Entertainment is the organization, but obviously the Savannah Bananas are the face.
Now hang on a second, Mr. Tanner Thomas.
Well, we're working on it.
Oh, listen, I have been to a few games, and I have seen both of y'all up on the dugout doing your dances, and there's been quite a few eyes on y'all. Mm-hmm. So I think the Party Animals are growing.
For sure.
Now there are actually 4 teams. Is that accurate? Mm-hmm. And we're gonna get into y'all's youth too. So this isn't just about Party Animals, but this is what people know y'all for initially. We call this the hook. Will Sarson's with us, by the way. Y'all don't know him yet, but I have a new nickname for him. After darts the other day, it's Will the Missile Sarson. So we'll get into that later.
Still throws 90, but with
bro,
darts,
was there any loft? I mean, you were ragging on my loft, which is true because we throw heavier darts.
Yeah.
So I threw those little light darts. Get that a little closer to you. So I threw those light darts, and I mean, I'm floating them, and I'm hitting like a 6-3, and I hear Tender over here going, "Yeah, floating that one a little bit, aren't you?"
Flicking it like a little
I'm
girl.
flicking it.
They don't know what it's like being up at Brick Oven throwing darts.
People screaming in your ear. Yeah. Well, okay, hang on, Dave. Let's back up for a second. Do you really think they don't understand standing in front of 60,000 people and having to throw a strike on 3-2, which puts a man on second?
I agree with that one.
Okay. I think a couple of drunks buzzing on my ear throwing a dart doesn't compare a little bit.
Screeching.
Different stresses.
So what I should have done before I answered that was this.
Bullshit.
Because that's my bullshit meter. So when Dave said that, I should have
Pencil sharpener?
Yeah, it's the bullshit meter.
I didn't know what was about to go on.
Don't run. No, but you brought it up, the stress levels, it's entertainment. You don't like walking people, do you?
Never.
Yeah, I mean, you get I maybe have seen Kind Tanner, who absolutely is fans first. I might have seen him throw his helmet once or twice deep in the dugout, being a good athlete, pro athlete, keeping them, but you like winning.
I shattered a shaker bottle this past year. Hit both Daltons on our team. It's pretty impressive, actually. But after that, I shut it down. That was good for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yes. Every now and then you got to have a release.
Well, yeah, I want to do good.
You got a lot of you got a lot of people watching, and it's having known y'all a little bit, I get the privilege of seeing y'all have grow some, and I know in your families and everything. But winning is really big in both of y'all's hearts.
For sure, absolutely.
I mean, if we want to tell a little story about Bam, I think the first time I ever saw him really ticked off was when he was losing in chess to David Duhan.
Or Corey.
Corey
Yeah,
Duhan.
yeah.
Sorry, Corey. Corey.
That was,
When was that?
elementary school. He
Yep.
beat me in the chess championship.
No, tell the story.
way.
This is a podcast. I need some depth to the.
I don't even know if.
Well,
I
I'm
remember
gonna
the full
help you.
story, So
Dude, I didn't know that.
I have beat him since then.
Yeah,
so that's
no.
all that matters.
Yes,
That's-
it is. You got redemption.
And that's how he ends the story every time, and I love it because that's what I'm talking about. He has an edge. He was
That's hilarious.
he was a young man, and he and I played chess a lot, and he got where I couldn't play him, and so he got into chess in elementary school, and it was just a side thing, but he's competitive, and all of a sudden he's top 5, and they're playing in tournaments, and there's this kid I always hear about that just is his nemesis. And it was Corey Duhan.
Yeah,
and they had a little thing going there for a while, and then Corey beat him for the championship of the of elementary school.
They had the whole lunchroom like rented out. And there was like all of us in the lunchroom.
Was that FIE?
No,
Yeah,
you
it
were
was
out there
FIE.
throwing ball, waving at the girls swinging, maybe.
Dude,
I don't
That
know.
was,
Well,
that was 4th grade. That was,
Before,
with,
I wasn't there then.
Oh, okay.
that was with Miss Turner. Corey and I had Miss Turner together, and she loved chess. So that was
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the right one day we'll have to have them all in here just for chess. We'll put it on here, drink some beers, and watch them play chess.
also
Trash,
chess.
dude. Well,
I
trash
still
talk.
play a lot of chess. So
Corey's gonna be
that's-
like, "Where'd this come from?" Bam's just mad.
Because it pushed him. I mean, Bam was it pushed him to get better. And look, I mean, to this day, he would grind me in chess right now.
I love chess.
You see that face?
I do.
Bring it.
Well, that's similar, but not the same. There's always one kid in swimming that would always beat me. It wasn't Corey, but there's always that one kid that always beat me, and I always wanted to be better because of that. But
Okay,
there's always that one kid.
I actually believe if you don't have that one kid, I may not be what I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the adversity and the challenge that makes them push harder, and you want to be the best, you want to be seen. So through high school, y'all really walked a little different story. I mean, Tanner, you were swinging the bat good. You were pretty well known in the Clay County and the regional area. And Zach, I don't think many people knew you. Coming through because you tore your labrum, right, in your junior year.
Started junior year. Yeah.
I mean, that's right when all the recruiters are there, and
Yeah, that was first game. I think we were just talking about it last night against Oakleaf because we were talking about Pillsbury and like other athletes. Like we just been mentioning athletes that we'd played against.
baseball's a small world, isn't it?
It is, and it gets even smaller the longer you play it.
really
Like
does.
everybody knows everybody, or like you've played with somebody that was on a team with you, or you played with, and then or summer ball, or you have no idea. But everybody's everywhere. It's awesome.
So do you believe in my theory? Dave was a ball player till he threw his arm out. Do you believe in my theory that it's not always the greatest athletes that? Okay, I'm not talking about MLB necessarily, the elite. But that it's not always the greatest athlete that make it, but it's the one that can actually survive. Because I mean, how many great pitchers have you seen blow their arm out and they're gone?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I was always told that you're no good hurt. So like even in pro ball, they're like, hey, if you're hurt, like you're no good to us. So you got to be healthy, and staying healthy is the hardest part throughout such a long season. So it's definitely that's one of the toughest parts is people just keeping their arm alive and moving and working.
So your junior year, where's your head? I mean, because you're not playing ball. Are you around the ball players at all?
Yeah, I'd go to practice. I'd still show up to practice, but mainly it was like I was doing my therapy and I was going up to the YMCA and working out.
But I
and-
mean, you're
and
hearing
listening
about
and
other
everything,
guys. I like depth, man. I'm going to dig a little bit because you're hearing about other guys getting recruited, and all of a sudden you're here with a torn labrum at your junior year, knowing you can compete.
Mm-hmm.
Not frustrating at all.
Very frustrating, but at the same time, right when I hurt my shoulder was about the same time I really got into like helping the youth with the small group, like up at the church, Grace Episcopal. So that time, I mean, previously before I had hurt my arm too, I was praying. I was like, "Hey God, like, do what you want to do. Like, So I definitely asked for it, and then I think me being injured and I got to be the closest to him and set a really great relationship with that. So yeah, it was frustrating, but at the same time, like I'm still around all my best friends and like I'm happy for them. and it's I don't know.
You
there's-
always were. You always had a good character like that.
So it's perspective. I mean, you can definitely be bummed out, but then like you probably don't make a bounce back, or like I was still working. Like the fact that I was in the gym getting mine was like I still felt like I was being productive. So it
Yeah.
wasn't a loss by any means.
Well, I think it got you ready for. I mean, as you were, because you haven't thrown. I mean, Will was our All-Pro quarterback catcher. I love him. I got to see most of it because me and Dave were sitting right there, got to watch them. So I got to watch a lot of these boys grow up. So it's been a lot of fun for me. But when you were, when you got back your senior year, I mean, with your arm, is it noodle? I mean, I'm not a pitcher, so
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel the same. Like I didn't start to get velo until junior year of college, like 3 years.
Slow
down the
lefty.
road. Yeah, it just didn't. I don't know. Working on those positions and getting the strength back, and I mean, especially the PT, because then after you hurt yourself, like you have to be so methodical and have a routine with everything that you do, because it's now you're just lagging behind a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was worth it. It was good. Good,
So
good character development.
Yeah, so you ended up going the JUCO route,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I went to St. John's River in Palaca, Florida.
Okay. And how was that? I mean, you know,
good.
the experience.
JUCO. It's Palaca.
Yeah.
Palaca's
It's a
awful.
lot of game. Palaca's off.
Yeah.
Okay. The fishing's good down there.
I don't fish. so
Okay.
that's-
and in about 10 years, it's going to look like probably Fleming Island, the way everybody's buying up
it
property.
probably will.
Yeah. So how many games do you play your freshman year? I mean, like not go out and pitch, but how many games do you? And you were in JUCO as well, Tanner, right?
Yep.
Where'd you play at?
Tallahassee Community College, but now it's Tallahassee State College.
Tallahassee State College.
Yep.
So y'all played against each other.
Our very first game as a college athlete was against each other. We didn't get to face each other, but yeah, that was
Like
it was,
a preseason invitational, they always do. Or we all, was it Chipola?
it was at Chipola,
Yeah.
like
Chipola,
round
yeah.
robin, whatever.
Yeah,
you just
that's
said
what it
preseason
was.
Man,
thing.
Chipola was at school back then. Are they still like that?
I think they're still like really good.
They had a
but
little
they're just not
tie-in
that-
down in South America, didn't they? Because they all were like Dominican. Not all. Okay, that's a broad general.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a lot of Dominicans on there. Because you learned to speak all the wordy-dirds of Spanish, didn't you?
At St. John's, there's a few guys that like I had friends that were
Yeah.
Spanish speaking, but Chipola that year, I don't. They kind of had a good little mix because that was the year they had 14 dudes drafted.
They
Like,
had
that
they tied the
14.
record for most people picked up out of a school.
and they
like,
beat
the same
all
school.
D1s in the country, and it was a JUCO.
Yeah,
Um,
it was
and
13 or
people-
14. It was so many, but they had
but-
Americon, Guzman.
Yeah.
Those are two guys that I know that were.
Steele, the lefty Steele got picked up. He's still playing, I think.
I can believe it. They had a lot of guys. Fun fact:
They go ahead.
sophomore year, Dr. Meadows, outfielder for
That's right. Yeah.
Bananas, played on
Oh, really?
our sophomore year. So I think he went to another school, then transferred in.
So, what do you think about all the new NIL and everything in college? Oh, you wish you'd have been there first.
Yeah.
I
I
imagine.
missed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming too because I was in SAC, which is student athlete something council or something like that, where you're like aware of everything that's going on in NCAA in your school and everything. So I was in my last year, and I knew it was freaking coming. And at the time, I was top 10, which I think was number 8 in NCAA men's baseball for following on social media. So
I didn't know that.
I could have been set, but at the same time, like if I stayed, it probably would have been tempted to like go to another school or redshirt, do something.
Because
and
that
not
was
have the
during
opportunity
COVID, and
now.
you could add some years to your college career. Well, now they're not even counting JUCO.
No, it doesn't count.
So you
anymore.
literally can go get your master's because JUCO they pay full ride. If you are if you're a borderline athlete, I would go JUCO every time. Would y'all disagree?
Yeah, cheaper school. I mean, free school's the best school. So
And you're not locked into like if you go to a D1 school, well, they don't do that anymore. Now, see, my old school, you had to sit out a year. Now with the portal,
Yeah.
you can bounce in and out.
I mean, since I went JUCO or since we went JUCO, I see the pros of doing it. I definitely think it's worth it. Like you said, free school or even a lot cheaper school because the first couple years of college is same classes, just a different name. And I mean, like you said, you're not locked up. You can get drafted either year out of JUCO. And now with it not even counting, like
The interesting thing, though, is this is, I'm sure, all coaches. So you played at Virginia Tech. Ultimately, you went on to play at Virginia Tech D1 and the ACC. And I enjoyed watching y'all beat all the other people I didn't like, except my heels. we'll talk about that some other time. So when you got there, the major differences, obviously the gear was, and the facilities
Right.
and all. But I mean, when you got on the field, in between the lines, was there? I mean, the crowd. I mean, do y'all really notice the crowd?
I did. Because, I mean, junior college, I had probably maybe 10, 15 people are going to the game, and half of those people were parents.
Right.
So like
Idiots like
those
me
people-
taking pictures, screaming.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, at VT, we had a pretty decent, it really does matter if you're good or not.
Yeah.
Like whenever we were doing well, we would pull out some people out to the games, and I think our max was like 1,000, or a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Like that was the max capacity that Virginia Tech held. And we got it up there a couple times. Just kind of depends on who we were playing, if they were good or if we were good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had some pretty good games.
Do you feel? I mean, so obviously there's more adrenaline. I mean, I can only imagine walking out now with you guys. Y'all have played in major league stadiums. Y'all are going to play. Y'all have played on a football field as well, right? So
We're
going to play on a football field.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
I
cool.
can't wait
Wow.
to see that.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah, and
Playing on 2 because you're playing in Tampa Stadium this year
Four.
now too, right?
four.
So the
Yeah.
first one I believe is Clemson Tigers, Death Valley.
That is something else. I mean, the historic Death Valley. So that's gonna be pretty cool.
Get
I
to
thought it
run
was
down the hill.
LSU.
But
That's
did you?
funny.
That's the
But
Death
did
Valley
you?
I know.
Did you see? Yeah, they always argue about
Yeah.
who's truly Death Valley. I say the one with the tiger wins. Wait, they both have a tiger. I say turn both the tigers lose. Whoever wins wins. No,
Head
no
to
one-
head.
I mean, Gladiator. I mean, okay, no one likes my
Good movie.
ideas.
That's a good movie.
That's why I talk, because then no one's going to follow me. Let's do a Gladiator, or they bring their best baseball player out, and we go banana ball on them. We
That'd be
bring our
cool.
Stilts guy out. What's his name?
Dakota.
Stilt.
Stilts.
That's what we call him.
Yeah.
Call him Stilts, yeah.
The guy pitches on stilts. I don't know if you really understand. I can't even comprehend what it would take you have to keep your balance first and then push off the mound, fall downhill.
He didn't even really play baseball either.
He
He just
He just played high school.
It was like high school casually, and then was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this on stilts."
So
His mom
who?
made him try out.
Yeah, his mom was like, Go
You're
try out."
kidding me.
No,
No, he didn't want to do it.
He does not have that baseball swag to him, which makes him endearing to me, and I think to a lot of the fans, because a lot of y'all's fans aren't. Now I'm a diehard baseball guy, to the degree that I love to watch baseball and I love the science of baseball. I don't follow players much, so I mean, y'all start naming a bunch of fancy names. I don't really unless it's the Braves, and even half them I don't keep up with the way they all bounce around.
Kind of same boat.
Yeah, but you know what? Why do I got to keep being a Gator fan? If they suck, I'll just go be a Bulldog fan for a couple years, and then I'll come back to the Gators when they start winning
That's
again.
called a bandwagon.
yeah, that's pretty gross.
What?
that you just
Okay,
said that.
time out, you pro ball players. This is my question right here. If y'all can do it, how come I can't do it?
I don't do it.
What do you mean?
I was a
don't do that.
party animal. Now I'm a tailgater.
I'm a Jaguar.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you
I've
just
been a
said that.
Jaguar.
God
We've
bless-
never been good.
Y'all have grown up as Jags. I mean, that's all. Like your brother is a diehard Jag fan. I mean, I get texts. He's cussing and mad. And
But I'm not going to be a Chief for like
like-
2 years, you know?
but what about the player? That player can leave and go to another team.
Okay. I could talk about that a little bit. A bit, or Will. Hold off. With baseball, I'm kind of like that because I grew up a Cardinal fan just because like my dad was a Cardinals fan.
Right.
And then we almost moved up to D.C. area when I was like middle school, early high school. Went to a handful of the Nationals games. That's when Harper,
Right.
Turner were all
Oh
there.
man.
And fell in love with Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Phillies, so I'm still a Nationals fan, but at the same time, like
So you follow
I-
players as well.
it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But I don't consider myself a Phillies fan. I consider myself a Nationals fan, but I love Bryce Harper. You know, like I want to see him do good.
See, like I have always followed I mean, I traveled for years, and I was down in Tampa more than I was in Jacksonville. I was only in Jacksonville for games and practice and things like that. And I followed Tampa during all the years they won. I can't claim them as my Cowboys sucked. I hate y'all. I mean, I can't get anything. My Braves are paying way too much, and then they tank.
There's also your son too, so you have every right to be a fan of whatever team he's on.
Yeah, true.
That's true. But it's
Yeah,
it's a
like-
business.
It's definitely a skewed.
Yeah, it is.
Say it.
I've unfollowed the party
Zach,
animals.
it was-
Ah, that hurts.
Not
Not
unfollowed you.
Your dad and I talked all the time when you were going and trying to go to college, and he swore if you went to Duke, he would never be a Duke fan.
It was Duke or Tennessee? If I
Duke,
was
Tennessee, and
wearing-
Georgia.
yeah.
No,
Yep.
but what I said was I would wear khaki shorts and a white. You asked if I would wear the jersey, and I said hell.
No.
There's a lot more curse words in there too. So
Be a neutral.
you're lucky this is a during the day interview. If this was 4 o'clock, I'd already be irritated. I'd be saying it. I can't be neutral. I could have been neutral. I mean, I
Or
don't
a
know.
white T-shirt.
Whew.
Go to the game.
I don't know where I sit, man. I mean, I'm sweating, and he's past that. I really did worry because, I mean, you had this is something I wanted to stop and talk about because this is interesting to me. And I am his father, but to be honest with you, I texted him and I told him, I said, these are 2 pro ball players. This ain't just daddy getting them on. I mean, I think I have a better shot getting him on than chasing this joker down. So anyways, we'll talk about it some other time. But coaches in JUCO, they have so much power. And I do have a little insight into BAM. And I mean, Georgia Tech, Miami, North Carolina. Coach Lopez at Miami emailed me back. I didn't use my last name. I sent the video Ross shot, and we got it from him, and I had Zach send it to me, and I did a redneck video, with the eye video or whatever when they first came out, put a little music behind it, put some stats. I think he even got his velo wrong, and I just started sending it out. And I said, hey, there's a crafty little lefty, and I learned the words late life and all this, and I'm like, he's got a little late life on his ball. Somebody you may want to take a look at. And I'd shoot the video. Well, Coach Lopez emails me back, hey, have somebody when do you call me about this guy? So I go to his head coach, and I'm like, hey, Coach Lopez at Miami wants to talk to you. I still got the email, just in case anybody ever called BS. I always saved it. And
Put it up on the screen.
yeah. Well, one day when Dave and I get trained, we're going to get faster at the screen because I'd love to have more of that on there. Anyways, and he said, your boy's a D2 ball player, okay? He's not D1. And I'm like, well, I said, he never bothered me. He didn't bug me. So he never intimidated me. So I always laughed. And I said, well, I don't know what to tell you, but there's a top D1 coach who wants to talk to you about, BAM. And then there was another that came to the game because of others and not the head coach. And they came to see BAM throw, and they would have signed him that day. University of Central Florida or South Florida?
SF, US.
University of South Florida. And the head coach didn't put him in because we didn't go through him. So they left, and by the time they got the word from the head coach, I'm sure it wasn't all glaring reviews, and all of a sudden we never hear another word from him. And what do you know? He ends up at the D2 school that is the pipeline for that school, and never flinched really though.
JUCO's a good preparation for pro ball. Nobody cares about you or your feelings, and so why would the coach?
Good preparation
A lot of work
for
is
life.
on you too.
Because it's especially pro ball, at least JUCO, you're going there for school and everything. Indie ball, they just release you. They don't care. So it's really, some people come out of college thinking that their manager is going to care about them, and that
There's no
messes them
feelings
up.
at all.
It's business. You are a dollar figure. If you're not healthy, see ya. If you're not a high draft pick and you're prioritized, see ya.
Because so talk about a little bit about, and I'll get into yours too. Talk a little bit about your minor league, because y'all sort of mirrored each other a little bit.
Yeah, mine was more like a cup of tea for a little bit. I did the USPBL, which was kind of like low A ball, so it didn't count towards professional.
Right.
I can't think of the word.
Time.
Your professional time.
Right.
And then I went to the Frontier, and
You started throwing decent at the Frontier,
Yeah. I mean, I was throwing well,
and then
it
all of a
was just-
sudden that's the part I want to talk about. Is I want people to hear this. That I mean, you're competing.
Yeah, I mean, you're a rookie.
You're a
So,
rookie.
It's if they can find someone with more experience,
And what would they tell you when they cut you?
you're a rookie. They're like, sorry.
And they need somebody with more experience.
Well, they were saying that, yeah, you're throwing great. They're like, I imagine that you would continue to throw great, or you'll throw well for another team, but we got someone that we didn't think we were going to see. And both of those were after our drive back from Quebec as well, which really sucked.
Wow.
17-hour bus ride just to get chopped at 4 a.m, and that sucks. Twice.
He waited till 4. That's
That's as soon as we got back. He was like, meet me in my office. I was like, oh.
I want to go to bed.
I was like,
Would have been a hell
Go
of
to
a
bed.
why?
But it would have been a lot longer bus ride home if you found out before.
Yeah, but I didn't even throw poorly, so that sucks. But
you were throwing decent.
that's whatever.
It taught you a
Who
lot,
cares?
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you also played in the USPBL.
Yeah, so mine was like I did the 2022 season or 2021. No,
It was
2020.
after COVID, yeah, 2022.
Well, it was after the bananas season. It was like the first year.
Because
like
I want to hear how you
15th
found
city.
about the bananas and who, was there somebody you knew or?
Well, so I'll start that in a second. But
Okay.
it's the so after that first little season, the pro season of the bananas, one of the guys played in the USPBL prior, and we had like a long time off after the bananas. So I was like, well, I want to keep playing. That was like kind of short. So he reached out to his manager. Manager called me, said I can come out, be on the team. And so I did it, and it was fun. I mean, baseball guys, they're cool. Whatever. It was still professional baseball. I didn't do great. I did okay.
It was a pitcher's league.
It definitely was. That field was not for me.
What does that mean?
The mound was a little tall, so you got a little extra velo off there.
And
but
somehow there's like no gaps in the field.
The park just didn't play to too many home runs unless you yanked it down one of the lines.
Yeah,
and center was pretty dead.
It was wild. Like I hit the ball hard a lot, but it was just like it never fell for me. So, and we only played at the one field. It was 4 teams, one field.
Three,
so
games,
like,
like 3 or 4 games a week. So hitters don't get in like that everyday hitting routine, whereas pitchers just feel fresh all the time. So it's definitely leads itself.
And they get to know the ballpark like the back of their. You knew the way the ball would bounce, I imagine, off every wall.
yeah, for sure. And it was cool because like I was playing center field a lot, which I loved. Center field, it's a good time. But yeah, I did that, and then I was like, okay, this isn't for me. I'm not really having too much fun. 1, I'm not performing as good as I want to be. 2, like it was a grind. It was independent ball, and I was like, the Bananas organization is definitely for me. It was a lot more fun, taking care of us a little bit better. I'm doing better.
Yeah. So you were a Savannah Banana first.
Yeah. Okay. So in 2018, I was in JUCO, or my second year at JUCO. And I was up in Waynesboro, Virginia, with the Generals, Blankenship.
Yeah.
Zach also played on that team too, the year after me. But yeah, so that was right when I was getting recruited. I committed to Virginia Tech, and super awesome summer. Had a great time. But I had a different. I thought I made an excuse to leave to go play for the Bananas. My assistant coach for JUCO was the assistant coach for the Bananas, and he asked me to come play. I thought the season ended, but I was told that I made an excuse to leave. So I guess I lied or something. I don't know. Probably did. But then I went and played for the Bananas as a temp player. Played on the team for about a month and a half, 2 months to end the season. Had a great time. It was still like fans first entertainment, but it was baseball still.
It was college though at that point.
Yeah, it was CPL.
So it was all college.
Ball, yeah.
Okay,
They were
yeah,
still playing like the Make and Bacon. They were still playing like it was that CPL league.
The Blowfish,
the Coastal Plains League.
Yeah. So that was still baseball. So like if you weren't playing that day, that's when you did the entertainment. Like it was mostly pitchers, like doing the dancing, and going through the crowd, everything like that.
Had the flipping started in the outfield or anything?
Not even close yet. That
My
was literally
gosh.
maybe 2 years ago when the first one was ever done. And that was DR Meadows. And then 2019, I definitely made an excuse to leave to go do it again for Banana Ball. But temp job, same thing. I wanted to go back, so I left. It was the Steeple Cats, North Adams, Massachusetts. I left that to go back to the Bananas, and then went to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, graduated, hard-headed, didn't get picked up, didn't want to do independent ball. I was like, I'm going to go home and just enjoy my time off. My dad was super supportive too, which helped a lot. So I was going to go back to school to be a firefighter, EMT, after that like fall, winter break.
Oh, you'd have been a good firefighter.
I think so too, but
You got
my
the sexy
calling came
look.
back.
I know. I got my best friend is John. John Everson.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know John.
Yeah.
I mean, just blue eye. Can you see it with the? He's got the flow though. I mean, the blue eye. I mean, all decked. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
All decked out with the like the highlight and the dirty pants, and them girls going. He's got the. I can see it.
But it's still like a team thing though too.
Yeah.
Like you have your locker room.
That
your
is
kitchen.
very true.
And that's what I was really attracted to be a firefighter was like, boom, it's still a team. It's still baseball brotherhood type thing. But I literally went to orientation. I did the physical test.
I just want to say something. I like my explanation better, but that's okay. Go
That
ahead.
works too. Firefighters. So I was like, okay. I sat through orientation. I did the physical test, and I signed off. And at the end of the orientation, I went up to the owner of the school and the professor for like the class I was going to be in. I was like, hey, I know I just signed all these papers that you just gave me, but I am not coming back. Like, it was just I was like, damn, I'm not ready to go back to school really. And I remember calling my dad on the way home. I was like, hey, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go to this tryout that I just heard about for the Savanah Bananas. Love it, what they're doing, everything. He was like, totally respect your decision. So went to tryouts, made the party animals, and been a party animal ever since.
Wow. So by then, when you did the tryouts, they had pros in the league by then?
No, so
Okay.
that tryout was, you can fast forward or go backwards like 3 years ago now. So that was 2022.
Right.
For that short season, and then it was the independent ball because we had a break, and then back to the party animals and everything.
And at that time, you guys were playing in front of...
Still sold out crowds, especially in Grayson
That was the
Stadium.
City. That was
That's what I was saying. How many...
One
yeah.
City World Tour?
For me,
or-
it wasn't the 3 City because they had something the summer before, the fall before. That fall when I was off, like not doing anything. That was like the 1 City World Tour, and I think there's like a 3 City thing.
Yeah.
They played the college team. The first season I did was like the 12 City.
So
Or
explain to
16, I don't
everybody...
remember.
Y'all's opening, like y'all's little.
Yeah.
Explain to everybody why he calls it. I sort of know because I caught it on shorts recently. Explain to everybody why he calls it a world tour, and y'all may not know, but has he ever explained why he calls it a world tour? And not, I mean, because you do go to Canada, but you don't technically go around the world yet.
I mean, I didn't see the short that you saw, but I'm assuming we're gonna take over the world with this thing.
That's his dream. I mean, he won't stop talking his dream. You know, I talked about this building. Because I came from nothing, man. I mean, I was a custodian on Phillips Highway. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just grinding. And I talked about owning a building since 1990-ish, 1999, maybe right before Bam was born. Because I was paying rent so much, and I saw if I owned that building, what everybody sees. But I didn't have no money. And so I went years, and then I there was times that, we've talked about here where I've lost everything due to no fault of my own. Corporate Woodview closed down. I'm like, I wasn't considered an honored debtor. He didn't know any of this. I'm sitting here going, and I have to start over in my 40s and catch up to their dads who've been steady, just, it was a war. And I remember when I got sidetracked. Where did I go? I started thinking about the war.
The dream.
The what?
Talking about your dream.
Yeah, my dream about owning the building. So I was over at another local store where I had started opening booths. Thank you. Where I started opening booths and everything. And I was in there about 4 years then. I was making some good money. And I had about 6 or 7 booths at that time. And so I was starting to build up some equity, some capital. And starting to look at buildings. Well, I never stopped looking at buildings. And I remember her stopping one day. She was like really irritated. She's like, Brett, when are you ever going to quit talking about a building? I said, fucking never.
Nope.
I cussed. I said, fucking never. Don't you ever talk to me. I didn't say this. Man, don't you ever tell me what I can and can't dream. And I have a saying that I've just grinded in. It's dream big and work the details. And I don't even know if you guys see it. Your paths are really working the details. I mean, cage work. How many hours you got in cage from high school on?
Well, who knows? Even before
tens
that.
of thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, we tried to count how many nails I've hammered in a wall over 20 years.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my gosh, that's not pro ball, but I'm gonna tell you something. In every world, whether it be Will and what he does with the military for now, and your other ventures that you'll do as you get out, and these two, it takes a grind, man, and it takes a focus of detail to get to where you got to go. I mean, how often do you work? You said something the other day that you said after 4 days you lose your feel. I mean, not totally, but I mean
for sprinting. Yeah, we were talking about sprinting, and you can start to lose gains that you had just previously made within 5 days of not sprinting all out. And it comes and goes just like that.
I can see that.
Is that wind and like being gassed and everything?
That's just more of like because right now
Just the speed of.
Yeah, I
like
can see that too, though.
Like right now in our times, we're doing like flying 10s, which means you have like a full speed, and then they measure your speed for like 10 yards at the 30-yard line or something. And then we'll do like the first 10 yards, like accelerations, and just those times, like the way Justin explains it, he's like the stimulus that you get from running, you can only get from running. Yeah. Like a squat's not going to stimulate your legs the way that a sprint would. A sprint would do that. And if you're not doing that, specific movement, then you can start to lose those gains, which is super unfortunate. But
And so bringing up that, I mean, that helps, working. I know you're a big workout buff. I know, well, you have to be, both of y'all. I mean, you work on different things technically, but I mean, your strengths are built for pitching. Your strengths are built for swinging that bat, right?
Yeah.
And your arm.
Yeah. The funny part about that is like this whole past year, I lost all motivation for lifting, it's funny, but I mean,
I see Bam smiling because you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I didn't
this
really
is
work
good.
out a lot this past year, and recently, probably off season, it finally made me mad. Like, it took one comment on TikTok to say, "Man, this guy's really put on some lbs," and that fired me up. So I was like, "All right, we're going back to the gym now." And I mean, he's totally right about the sprinting, but I could definitely see that with hitting also.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to take a break every once in a while, step away from what
Yeah.
you do. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt out. And one, I don't see myself burning out with baseball, but like I still don't want to even test that. But I mean, if I take a week off of swinging, like I'm so sore the next day. It's just not the same swing. Everything's like just not consistent.
That makes me feel better because I mean, I'm old, so I mean, I always hurt. But it is interesting when I snatch furniture around. I mean, and I'm on a consistent unloading trucks, and go through your sore moments like working out, and then all of a sudden, well, matter of fact, Bam here, I think one of his biggest videos was. We'll have to post a link.
That was awesome.
We'll have to post a link on this. So it's of him, and this is where we should be pulling it up, and you should be throwing it up. We got to get better at that. So this is of him lifting a couch up to the second floor, and with Dearman. I love you, Dearman, but you were a freaking crack up. That was hilarious. It's heavy.
This is heavy.
This is heavy.
He knew the camera was rolling for sure.
I wonder
Zach
if
made
he.
it through the house pretty quick, though.
Yes, he
yeah,
did.
because I didn't want him to drop.
been doing that
our
sprint
couch.
work.
I was like, I know he's gonna drop this thing and break it, and I don't want to do that. So I gotta
That
run
is
up there.
awesome.
And I run up there, and he doesn't even. I love him too. He's one of my best friends.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't even have like a grip on the side. He's like squishing from both sides. I'm like, bro, grab it.
Like grab a leg or
Like,
something.
Like get some leverage, and he's just like squeezing it like this. I'm like, dude,
And I
you're
know,
special.
I know
was
y'all
like,
catch the comments, but I know y'all don't read every one of them because there's a ton of comments. You have a ton of followers, and Zach, you're growing as well. Both of y'all have a ton of followers compared to what we do. But I mean, you're human. I mean, I couldn't allow myself to read the comments. Like even on this stuff, I don't really read comments, and we don't get that many right now with the 3 viewers we'll have today. No.
The good ones make you feel good, and the bad ones make you feel bad. So you might as well just give them no weight and not look at any of them.
Yeah, I mean, you'll
Personally.
see some social media people say like, "Don't look at the comments, don't look at the comments," but at the same time, like, I think you should
To know
a
what
little
you're
bit.
fan.
Well, and just to interact with them, like comment back, like
And
at
that
the
al-
positive stuff, of course. But
And that also helps the algorithm, doesn't it?
yeah, 1000%.
Yeah, more.
Okay, so that's
Maybe
the
not
part-
you commenting back,
Just
Right.
interactions.
but that engages with them and that makes them want to comment more and everything like that.
So like my mother comments on every stinking post I put on Vintage One.
Everyone.
Everyone. And I sometimes I'll be sweet mom. Everybody knows you're my mother by now. Thank you. It's sort of going, you don't have to post every time. And she's like on every one. I've had my wife talk to her twice.
She does the same thing on mine.
Yeah. She just, she's
Helping the
excited.
algorithm.
She's excited. She's on Facebook.
Yeah. She just got it. She just got an Instagram because I just got 120 notifications of her
She's there.
just going through my page and just liking all the pictures and commenting on random ones. And it's literally Helen Blankenship. There's like 120 notifications from her.
I'ma
And
tell
I loved
you.
it. I was like, oh, I'm glad you found Instagram.
I'm gonna tell you that woman. She'll never see this because she never watches this kind of stuff. But that
She might
woman,
now.
she might. Sorry for saying the F word, mother. I'm really not. I'd have to
Cut it
hit the bullshit meter because I'm not. It's my favorite curse word. It's just. I mean, it's got the. I know it's deep and it's ugly, but it's just. I mean, when you work in construction, Of course, y'all get to say it in Spanish, so it's not fair. We don't know you're saying it, except all your friends. I know you would never.
I don't know what it is.
Exactly. Zach probably doesn't either. But he could spit out some words in college ball. All right, so
I still speak some Spanish.
Yeah.
I understand it better than I speak
More of
it.
an ASL guy, so.
How much has that helped you?
To be honest, like I still love it, but I mean it's cool because no one knows really what it is.
Yeah. Have you run into more Spanish-speaking people or more?
Oh,
deaf people?
1000%, yeah.
what is it?
Okay.
ASL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, American Sign Language.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's wife was deaf. His first wife, they have been divorced for a long time. I didn't never learn sign language. We just had more fun when she would turn around. We would yell at her.
Yeah.
And tell her to make us go make something. And John had more fun. He would follow behind her. You better make my food. And she turned around. And he'd be smiling.
John's like the Corey of our group.
Yeah.
Oh my
John
gosh!
acts very
Y'all-
similar to how Corey acts with us. That's John.
Oh, John is just
He's a
God.
trip.
Corey's
Oh,
a nut job.
trip.
Nut
Well,
job.
the good thing about or the cool thing about ASL, like if you forget what a sign is, you can just finger spell it,
Yeah.
and that's just part of it. You can just read what they just said. It's like, oh, okay.
So are you starting to do more of that?
I've definitely fallen away from it a lot,
I got
but like
you.
I still know the alphabet. So if I
What
wanted to
got you
tell
in
someone-
that? Just
failing Spanish.
Did you take it in high school?
Yeah.
I love it.
I only made it halfway through the
I hate
first
Spanish.
I don't know what it's called in high school anymore, semester,
Yeah.
quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was just failing it, like not doing it. It's not
Is
from
that why-
lack of trying, but I
Right.
tried. And the choice was to either I think I sat out the rest of that year, and then sophomore year jumped into ASL.
Okay, I'd like to give a shout out to Miss Sanchez of University Christian when I took Spanish. This is all I used to remember here. Hola, my Lord, Carlos. She go, hola, my Lord, Carlos. And then she start jabbering in Spanish. And I just look up, I go, mi nombre es Carlos. That's all I ever learned.
I don't.
I made it to Spanish 3, and that's all I can say.
I didn't make it halfway through Spanish 1, so
Oh, my gosh. Well, if you're at UC, you probably would have. So,
fair.
you
I did take 3 years of ASL. Though it was a good time.
So, do you remember much of that?
I mean, I remember some signs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling him. Like I remember some of the bad signs, but I do remember some of the good
Yeah.
signs.
So, I used to play against Florida School of Deaf and Blind at University Christian.
You joking with me? Or
No, everybody chuckles.
Where the huddle started.
No, listen, you don't understand this. These are grown men. These were JUCO kids that could still play high school ball. They had beards. Back in the 80s, that wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
Men
not
didn't
at
have
all.
all the stuff y'all eat now, but nobody had beards. These men had beards. And so, I mean, you think Florida Deaf and Blind. Well, obviously, they're not blind. And so they had
That's
the
just the school.
they had the deaf out there.
Yeah.
No, they had and so but they're not totally deaf.
I was about to say sometimes you could just be
Hard of
of
hearing.
hearing to a
Okay,
certain
hang on.
degree.
Yes,
to where,
no,
yeah.
and they know it.
Yeah.
And so the refs, this is no joke.
wanna win.
I played them from 9th grade to seniors. So I'm talking about basketball, baseball, and football. And so I knew all these jokers, and there were some dirty ball players. And this one guy in football online, I played defensive end, and he was the tackle. Well, he would hit you after the whistle every time because he didn't hear the whistle. No, he heard the whistle because
That's crazy.
he would wink at you.
That's
He was
hilarious.
the first place I learned to have a dip and spit at you while you're in the ground. Oh, UC style.
That's wild. Is that St. Augustine? Like that's the
Yeah,
school?
yeah, down there by
Or
Right
University
over
My
the
Flagler.
bridge. Yeah.
No, UC.
No,
being
UC is
University Christian.
University
yeah?
Christian.
Oh, you're talking about the school. Of Deaf and
Fl-
Blind. Yeah, that's
school,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
they're in San, and a dynamic school and does great for the community of they are the oldest deaf and blind school. So I'm not ragging on them. It's great facilities,
Yep.
dynamic athletes, especially when you be 22 in high school. I'm kidding. I don't know if they were 22, but they were definitely older. And so I remember in football getting laid out by him more times than not because I wasn't paying attention because the whistle would blow and coach would tell him, and I was a defensive back. So you chase a guy around a little bit. Every now and then I get a hit, and then I'd be walking around. Well, that guy, he never stopped. He would be coming down the field, and you're not paying attention. He'd lay you out after the whistle. So I began to hate him, and I didn't know sign language. So him and this one little safety guy who played basketball, and he was also the point guard, and I was the shooting guard back then. So we would come across each other. We were at the basketball down in St. Augustine. We're down to the basketball. And I didn't know sign language. He's just going off, and I mean, I'm wanting to fight, man. I mean, I was just that idiot, and I'm jawing at him, and his big old buddy comes around the corner, and they start sign language with each other, and so I went like this. I went, that's crazy. I'm like, oh yeah, and I was doing, you flagged up a bird, and from that moment on, we died laughing because I mean, what are you gonna do? And it was just some awkward bond, and from that moment on, he became my best. But every time we played Florida Deaf and Blind, I'd go find that little guy. We'd flag each other off. I'd do my little thing and flag him off, and that's where the "I love you" came from. As in my family, I don't care how warped it is to y'all. In my family, my daughter leaves, and you just give her a bird. That means I love you, and I just want to take the power away from the middle finger when they were kids.
I'll tell you my first football practice ever.
I want to hear this.
I was, I mean, I quit Pee Wee. I did not like it.
Right.
it's because of a kid kicked me in the shin and I quit like right after practice. Like just did not like it. But then I get peer pressured into going to freshman football, which they said tryouts, but if you went out there, you were on the team pretty much.
Did they
But
drag you out there too? Okay.
It was me, Gage Chansey, and Jordan Imperial. Like, it was us.
Okay,
three
Gage
that
will do
went.
anything.
Because I was
so-
doing freshman football already, so
right.
that was like, oh yeah, boys, come on out.
Hey,
Like, have
exactly.
fun.
Right.
Yeah,
And guess what? He runs me over that first practice. Like, just not even. I'm on the dummy team. I don't know football at all. It's a hike. I'm on defense. I don't know. I'm flat footed. Next thing you know, bam.
I was a fullback and he was in the way.
Oh my gosh.
You got a
I
little
was
brutal.
blocking.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
blocking
Yeah.
fullback.
He didn't block. He just ran through me. He
Yeah.
just didn't matter. I'm on the ground. Can't
Yeah.
tackle when you're on the ground. It was.
That
I was like, all right, we're out here now. I don't know.
I'm glad Bam doesn't play football anymore because, well, one, he would have been kicked out of every football game in the pros because
For using his head.
he didn't use his head. He just, what did they teach us?
I would love to see
used to
Zach
put-
play
Hey,
Hey,
football.
watch this. You put the forehead
Right in
in
the middle
the
of their
numbers
chest.
and you drive through them. Well,
Yep.
that's what I taught my son. And he was never, well, every now and then he'd be tired and he'd sort of lean in, but if you were in a pile, he was going to get his body in that pile. Now, if he was last man in and his head happened to be coming first, in his mind, he's just trying to tackle. Even if the guy was already on the ground, I'm like, bam, he's good. You got him.
Whistle hadn't blown yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's our front line, dude. I would love to see him play football.
Here's when I knew I had a headhunter. It was Orange Park, OPAA, and Pretty Boy Fleming Island back then. We're just a bunch of pretty boys.
I remember this.
Yeah, and it was dark. It was getting dark, and it was. I mean, it's like it literally became a video
Well,
game.
OP had lights.
They
out
okay,
there,
so it
so
was
they-
night.
yeah.
and there was some. I mean, there was some thumping, and they were studs, and they were big. And Bam was a middle linebacker, and I just remember, and I was coaching. I remember the field just opening up wider than I'd seen. I mean, the middle of the field, they just blew our guys out of the way. And there's Bam, and there's the dude that ended up going to Miami.
Different guy, I think, but I don't know this guy's name. But
I think it was
he
the sa-
Do you
okay.
remember Ira Marshall from Fleming Island? He was a super short, stocky dude that was just like a.
It was a bowling
He
ball.
was literally just a bowling ball.
And they
were
met-
so fast. No, this guy was at OP, but Ira was at Fleming. That's just the comparison
Oh,
I'm
okay,
making
okay,
right
okay.
now.
And
But-
they came and met in the middle, and the clack that hit when they hit reverberate. I'm not kidding. Everybody went quiet. It was just, and they hit each other and they backed up. I mean, they were full for, and neither one, and they sort of looked at each. They were both dazed. They sort of looked at, and they went back at each other.
We stood there for like a second. We were like,
I mean,
oh, it's still going.
And
we had to-
it was almost like the whole game. I'm not like dramatic. It's almost like the whole game just stopped, and I'm just sitting there, and it felt like it went 10 seconds, but it was only like a bang bang. But the whole crowd just went quiet. The clack, and this was Pee Wee, it was Pee Wee because OPAA and Fleming Island, FIA, whatever it was, and that's when I knew. Okay, this kid's a headhunter. His brother got into swimming. I wish he could have kept him in swimming.
he was nasty.
Golly, he would be 10 years old and blowing people out, but you had to sit there
Yeah.
all
Had to wait for
day
your
with these helicopter parents that are going, we little Johnny, giving them, and for 30 seconds of a swim, and then you sit, and I'm like,
Kind of like track and field too, where you just got to wait for your event.
Yes.
Or
All day.
wrestling.
Or
You're just
wrestling
waiting
even,
around
yeah.
all day for your match and then go to your next
I guess
match or-
wrestling I didn't mind as much because you could watch others.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more stuff going on because
Yeah.
I mean, with the swims, like I guess that race would only happen when that race is going on.
So would you consider yourself growing up more, less of a bull and more of like a,
I was more of like a skill.
that's what
in
I'm
my
saying.
opinion. Like I did a lot. Like I swam. I was really good at swimming. If you ask my dad, backstroke was like my favorite or what I was best at. But like I used to love freestyle, just going as fast as I could. I was, like I said, I was really good. I would kind of wish I went out for Fleming.
That's a lot of practice for a little bit of swimming.
It is, but it's so good for you.
I went to Episcopal, and those guys would be there at 5 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning, and then after school. I mean, we're getting out
Duhan did
football,
it.
huh?
Corey
Duhan
Duhan did it.
swam
He was really good
the whole time.
Connor, his older brother, has like, or he's with, I think it was whatever, the relay, but they have the state record at Fleming.
Really?
I think it was, I forgot which one it was. It was like the 400
Their lats,
relay, whatever. Oh, they're huge.
all our swimmer guys
good
and
for you.
girls at
Like a
Episcopal.
V.
They were
Trees.
just big old wide shoulders and big old. Because they're just all day.
Like I would definitely be a sprinter because I'm not long
Yeah.
and lanky because that's typically what they are. They're
Was
lean
Corey
and
a
just
sprinter?
long. He was good on the butterfly. He was a big butterfly guy.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I remember practicing with him though. He did a butterfly and he got out of the pool and just threw up everywhere. But I did that. I played soccer at Grace Episcopal too, which is where I went from 4th grade through half of 8th grade. We just introduced sports, and I was literally
Is that how you got tied in with them? Grace Episcopal?
No, we were first grade at FIE.
First grade at FIE.
Oh, okay.
Same class.
And then he left and then ended up coming back in middle school.
And we still did crush and travel ball and everything. But I did swimming, I did soccer, I did flag football at Grace Episcopal, basketball. Played a couple years at Fleming. I got cut freshman year, made it sophomore year, didn't go out junior year, made it senior year, and then quit when baseball rolled around. But yeah, I ended up narrowing down to baseball, but I played a lot of other sports.
Yeah, I still go watch Fleming and basketball. They got some big boys out there now.
Oh yeah, I can assume.
Well, with all the new housing they're building too, they're able to live in some better athletes.
Well, we just learned this the other day, but Clay High School, they're moving to they're building a whole new campus for Clay High School.
Really?
So
Clay High right now is going to be the elementary middle school.
Green Cove is going to move into
Green
them.
Cove's gonna
that
move into
makes
Clay,
sense.
And they're because Green Cove's so historic and it's so old.
Well, and
I
it's
don't know
blowing
what
up.
They're doing to that. But
Yeah,
It's going to be the next Fleming Island. Fleming
yeah,
is
it's going to get huge.
Yeah, Fleming's going to be the Orange Park.
Where
Yeah.
they building
Sorry to
the
tell
new
you, all
school?
those parents.
Huh?
Where are they building the new school?
They're building it right now.
Where at?
I don't know the
I'll have
roads,
to
but as
search.
soon as you get into Green Cove, you take
It's
a right.
close by.
They shut down the road. It's somewhere
watch
out by
this.
those new neighborhoods.
Hey, Hopek, while we're talking, you got a computer and you can go, hey, Clay High moving and see what pops up. Then you can throw it up on the screen and we can see it.
yeah, but they're.
where did you hear that
It's
from? We just heard that.
Coach Jason
That was-
Robinson.
yeah, that was
at
just-
So go
Robinson.
camera only while you're searching.
I am.
It's a good squirrel right there.
Yeah. I'm going to have a TV up here too eventually where y'all can
All
see
you really
everything.
need is a little monitor.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna get huge because my sister lives in one of those neighborhoods and they're still just building, building neighborhood after neighborhood.
And that's why Palaca, I'm telling you, in 5-10 years, I think so.
Palaca's
It
growing.
will
up
be.
too.
Their high school's pretty good at sports
Yep.
and stuff too.
Yeah.
They always get good athletes.
What?
I mean, that's like the only high school around there. To
Yeah.
be honest.
Well, it
so.
started around COVID, right? Everyone started
Yep.
moving down to Florida,
Yep.
and Jacksonville's the biggest land wise.
Well, and it's what it really is too is the housing costs versus all the stankies that come down over there, like David. They're willing to pay $600,000 for a 2,000 square foot house, which used to sell for $387,000.
Yeah.
We just downsized, and I paid probably $120,000 more than what that house is worth. It's a nice house, but it's it's got things that's got to be fixed for $400,000. You're going, what?
Right.
That thing should be nice. So it's not. But then again, I won because the people that bought my house in Fleming Island, I had an acre, and so to them that was this big.
I drive by there once in a while. They just painted it white.
I know. We drove
saw
by.
Yeah.
That house looks so small now. It's sort of weird.
Your house?
Yeah, they painted it all white.
Did they really?
It's not my house. It's their house.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I haven't
I
gone by there
love that
since you
brick.
guys moved.
Yeah.
No-
Last
no
time I
more
was
red
in.
brick. It
Yeah.
used to just be, hey, red brick house on Lake Shore, and then
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Well, it's funny because a lot of my kids' friends are like Sydney. She had a friend call her, and she said, "No, we moved. You moved, and you didn't tell me."
Yeah, true.
We'll say those will.
I don't know. They don't enjoy me being in the house anymore, so I have to leave. They call the cops, so I'm not allowed to get on that property anymore. I love where I am, but it was a tough move, and I think a lot of it for me was business, and baseball teaches a lot of business traits. And you're in. That's why I need to have a headset on Will. He's in with the military, and the grind that you learn in yeah, someone's laugh. The grind that you learn in sports and from your coaches, because a lot of your coaches are, I almost said unethical. I'm not going to use that verbiage. Or have their own agendas. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because that's healthy. It's not like it's
Time
bad.
management and
or
everything,
even
for
just
sure.
their own experiences that
Right.
brought them to be the coach that they are. Like they might have never had to go through what you're going through.
Right.
They might never have had the adversity that like you're personally experiencing. So it's, some guys like
And so when you leave the baseball world, the mentality of the things you've had to now, luckily in the business world, people don't throw chairs at you, and they can't yell and scream and keep you up till 12 o'clock cussing you, things like that. But it's still somebody, they actually go underneath. It actually gets more difficult because they get underground and they're all talking on this back channel you don't even know, and yet they're doing the same things they do in baseball.
Yep.
I mean, I'm dealing with the SBA with this bank. You should have seen the way they bent me over, knowingly. I told them, and that is United Community Bank. You suck.
Yeah.
That's what I love about podcasts. I told them I was going to be paying off my son's car to make sure that he was, all debt free and everything, and so I was either that or pay taxes on this building, and they were rolling the taxes into we were refinancing. They were rolling the taxes in. So I was talking to my bank guy, Brian, and I said, "Oh, cool." Talked to Don Marie, his mama, and paid off the car. The next day they called me because he knew I paid it off, and he said, "We're not rolling your taxes over." So what it would have done is I would have violated my contract, and they would have got this building, which is what they want because they ran everything's going up in value, and so they've already gotten some years of payment out of me. And if they can get a building and resell it, awesome. It's ugly. So this guy knew I was paying. It was a considerable amount of money. Matter of fact, do you remember that, Dave? I was screwing that board up. I'll never forget. It was that second board right there at the angle, and I had it up, and I had the phone. I said, "What's up, Brian?"
Oh, I remember.
And when
you're
he
like,
told me,
I need a minute.
no, I started cussing.
Yeah, and you're like, I
went
need
out
a minute.
that.
You went out back.
I was yelling at the banker up and down. You
The
unscrupulous.
thing is, you even knew it because your phone rang, and you're like, "Oh my God, watch this."
I knew when I saw his
Yep.
name but I got a big God, things they don't understand. So we were able to pay everything off and the taxes off and all. And so I just think for me, it's a example of, I've seen, minor league, and I'm not just talking about y'all two, but being around a lot of ball players, I've seen minor leaguers just get jacked all over the place. I mean, 1 minute you're throwing good and you come in the office after hours and you're cut.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
And then you stayed at someone's house. I remember we talked and you go, I think I'm going to hang out here for a couple days. And
Yeah, I got really blessed with good host families everywhere I went. And in St. Louis, my host mom at the time had been like, "Hey, yeah, if you need to stay for a couple days," because I was like, "I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing." She's like, "I don't think we have a new guy coming in for 3 or 4 days." She's like, "You can hang around."
well, you were a little more dejected, weren't you? I mean, the wind was out of you a little bit. I mean, it has to be. You're getting cut. And now you're like, then there's the unknown of not knowing if anybody's going to pick you up.
Yes and no. Having torn my shoulder in high school, I'm Zach. I'm not a baseball player, so that's why that was so important earlier for that to happen, because people that get their meaning associated with what they're doing.
If they're only a baseball player,
yeah, if you're just the baseball player Tanner and you have nothing else to you, you're gonna be lost when baseball's gone. But it was because I had lost baseball at an earlier age, now it was I was looking on to other things. Yeah, I love baseball and I love the training and I want to do that every day. But it was also seeing are there ever other avenues? Should I move on and do something else? And then it just so happens that each time, being patient and praying over the stuff, I ended up reaching out to the party animals after that, because I'd gone to the tryout the year before, and Barry was like, "Hey, well, if anything goes south, just let us know." And when I called them, they were in Indianapolis, which was only 4 hours away from St. Louis, so I just drove over and met them there. But no, it's definitely depressing, but at the same time, the first thing that crossed through my brain actually was oh my goodness, I'm going to go destroy my biceps and I'm going to get huge, because I was now I don't have to worry about pitching. I can get a big chest and big arms and just go crazy. Yeah. So I was excited for that, but I was like, we could still do this a little bit longer. So
heck yeah.
It's all situational, but no, I wasn't really. I mean, it's just another thing that
What-
happens.
give me, Bam, and then I'm going to ask you the same. Give me your favorite child moment you remember. Just if something, and there may not be one, it just may be moments, but if you have one, someone you met, a kid where you made a difference, or you've heard something, or I love those stories.
You're saying as an adult now,
Yeah,
or from my
as a
childhood?
party animal,
Okay.
signing balls and
no.
playing, and somebody maybe you've had an influence with, or it could have been just a moment interaction.
Yeah, I mean, the first one that comes to my brain is Bryson and Riley, which are two kids that they came to our Jack's camps. They love to do our baseball camps. They're great Christian family. I mean, granted, Bryson and Riley are both separate families, but they're buddies. They play together. And on their team, they're trying to do like the banana ball aspects, like have fun.
Wait a
and
second.
everything.
They're on a baseball team, like a peewee
like
team,
a youth baseball team.
and they're
I think-
allowing
I
them
think
to
they're
do flips and everything,
No,
or
they
attempt.
dance. They do walk ups. The moms have
The whole league does.
no, just their team. And
Just really them.
and they're
Not even
also
their team.
they're also nasty, so they win. And so that's what
So that really ticks
that really
people
upsets
off.
people, that they're godly, nice people that are just like playing music, and their son wants to dance and then go up there and hit a triple, and you're like, "Ooh, I mean, he's better than your kid, so let him do it." But those two young men, they recently had us, or Dearman and I, on a podcast, and I don't know, that was just a really cool moment for me, because the way that they sat us down and had questions, and then would like compliment us, and we're talking about our past, like in our life, and I don't know, it just kind of put it into perspective that you're like, okay, there's other really driven young kids too that like see that we're helping, and like you can feel like you feel like you're making a difference sometimes, but at the same time you're like, you see so many kids, like sometimes the impact isn't quite as jumping out
Yeah.
at you.
So who's a better interviewer, them two little turds or me?
I would
had
say
some good questions.
They had great questions.
What's
They
their
did.
podcast name? Game Changer?
Okay, we'll put a link
Goats,
on.
Game Changers. Yeah, it's God over all things. The Goats.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so send me a link and we'll put it on. We'll put it in our bio right
They're
there.
doing a really good job.
They're cool. So good for them.
They've
But they're-
gotten a
they're
handful of
awesome.
the Banana Ball boys.
Yeah.
So going to the camps and everything, you guys are involved with the company. The name
Oh,
of the-
DBat?
DBat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of all started with Dalton Malden with DBat. He had a camp up in Nashville, and he asked if we wanted to
Teaching
run it.
banana ball or teaching regular
No,
baseball?
Well, it's us, obviously. It's
Right.
not like a Banana Ball camp. It's our
yeah.
names.
Yeah, because
And-
Banana Ball, I mean, and rightfully so, they control their name and everything,
sure.
and
There's a
have
lot of
a
names
trademark
like
on it.
that,
Y'all
yeah.
are very careful. Because I've even tried to get Bam to sit down with me. He's like, you are stringent about it, and I appreciate and I respect that, because this man's built up a a brand.
Yeah.
With that being said, you are still individuals that play baseball, and y'all
Right. I would really say that our camps are really just literally we're gonna do baseball and softball, and we're gonna have fun doing it. So Banana Ball stuff are involved because that's
it's
what we
y'all.
learned.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's what we do too.
Right.
So it's like
it's more the tricks. Sometimes a little bounce
yeah,
here or
it's trick
there.
plays. It's home runs. Like if you were to run around the bases after hitting a ball 5,000 feet, how would you celebrate it?
That's
so it's
fun.
stuff like that, and we hand out some prizes afterwards.
Does it bring a different athlete in? Like, I mean, as a child, does it bring the typical baseball athlete in that maybe, because we know
Yeah.
they can turn into ball players.
for sure? I would say so. Yeah,
I think it also makes the younger kids even better. Like the kids that are in there that really just don't care and they're just there to have fun are always the sweatiest kids, like with the best arms. And you're like, okay, cool, because you're having fun.
You realize that
The
you guys
entire
are
time.
developing the future banana ball guys down the road,
Yeah, it's crazy because like we probably started doing these trick plays 2 years ago.
and it's already.
They're 12 or 7. Started early is probably 7.
Yeah.
Well, even 4 really, because we had a 4-year-old at our camp the other day. But like we're introducing these trick plays to them, like so I can't imagine 1 how good they're gonna be,
Yeah.
and 2 the other trick plays that will evolve.
Because
throughout
you
the
learned it
years.
at 20 something and they're learning it at
Right.
7. So they have this idea in their brain that like
When
we
we
didn't
were
even
learning
have an
fundamentals.
idea. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's when
they're
they're
learning
learning
banana
banana
ball
ball
fundamentals,
Yeah,
which then you get to build on over the years. And luckily, y'all will be too old to have your jobs taken away from you. Hopefully, you'll be managing those guys.
But I'm sure there's gonna be like there's some 19, 20, 21-year-olds that are doing it just to mess around because
Yeah.
they see it, they think it's cool.
Listen, Clemson, all 3 of them, 4 did a backflip.
Yeah, that was cool.
I mean,
yeah.
that's impressive, and the dance and all for not. I mean, they had fun. Now do it on a regular,
That's all
and,
it takes.
yeah,
Yeah. They also lost.
yeah.
Just
they had a
saying.
good
competitor. I
Well,
love it.
Well, I'm saying because banana ball's not easy, and if they're the away team,
I'm
as
glad you
well,
bring that
makes
up.
it even more significantly harder. And if you're doing tricks, like to learn the feel of when to do the trick or when to like, oh, let's be entertaining, but like we still want to win.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like there's a big balance that like it takes new teams a while to learn. So it's like, yeah, it's super cool. Like Clemson was super, like they look super projectable and they're really nice and like took on everything.
They had a blast.
Granted, I wasn't there. This is just for me watching it and talking with all
Right.
the guys that was there. But it's still like at the end of the day, they lost. And like if you look at the better team athletically, it's probably Clemson. If you're looking at
Yeah,
like
1000%.
the arms they have, like the
More
bats,
prime.
like more, they're just in their prime. Like that's a a powerhouse.
But they're in
D1.
your briar patch.
But then it's like, okay, well, you're playing our game, and like we know how to do this, and we know all the tricks and the little and like how to.
Another good example probably is like the firefighters. Like
Yeah,
it was a brand new team and
Great athletes.
They were obviously getting pushed to trick play.
Yeah.
Like swing out of your shoes, do something entertaining, but like they did it so overboard where like they were missing and just getting shut out and just not playing good
Or it's
against the Bananas
no
party.
outs in the inning. They didn't score the inning before, and they're doing trick play on the first play, and you're like, okay, that guy's now on second, and that's the winning run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You
they're
let
just
him there.
they're blowing.
So
the
there's
game.
literally a strategy to win to do the entertainment.
We call it feel, but it's like
You call it
could
what,
be
feel?
Just have some feel. Like you should be aware and like have the mental awareness to be like, okay, well,
If it's 2-2 and a man's on second, you know, you're
especially
not.
as the away team.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more feel on the away team because like you have more at stake every inning. Because like if you score 0, which happens more times than not, like it's like, well, shoot, we probably shouldn't do it. Like we should probably get 1 out before we do a trick play.
Still do the trick because like the trick in the big moment is what makes it cool. But like
Correct.
don't mess up the setup by doing it on no outs when I'd rather you miss the trick with 2 outs. And because then if you get it crazy into the inning, you're like, oh my goodness, you got the trick play. But like you do that with no outs, then you just set yourself up. for
Crazy
failures.
that you have that you're they're talking strategy on the entertainment side, which is what I wanted to see.
Which is pretty cool.
I didn't know it'd come out like that.
Yeah,
but
or if like you want to do a trick play, like you're not going to mess up.
Right.
Like, especially for the first out. Like, because people still do it. but
Right.
It's like, oh, it's too perfect of an opportunity not to do a trick play. I'm
as
gonna
a
do something
pitcher's
I can
dad,
do.
it drives me crazy. Yeah, I mean the behind the back, and it's a routine pop up. He's gone down and away, got the guy to pop up, which is his MO as a pitcher. He'll get strikeouts, but he'll get you to pop up right center no, right center is where he gives up the big hits. Left center is the pop up,
Well,
or to right field, and
Even
they'll
as the
do a
home
flip.
Team, though. Home team though, there's nowhere you're freed up. Like
Because you can
gotta
answer
see-
whatever run they like.
whatever.
The away team's setting the pace, so the home team can answer and walk off every inning. Whereas the away team, like you have to score every inning, or you're at a severe disadvantage.
So do y'all meet? I mean, like as a team with a coach, or do y'all meet? This
I think it's just experience. at
This
this
that's what I'm asking. I mean,
And call it and hold each other accountable. Like if a guy does something dumb,
because there's a whole book y'all just talked about right there on strategy of banana ball
Well, that's
that I really never even thought about.
that's why it's tough. New guys coming in and like you can tell kind of who the greenies are when they're running around.
That's
like-
crazy. Because unlike the Globetrotters, it is a staged presentation, and they know who's going to win. I don't think a lot of people realize that this is not the baseball version of the Globetrotters.
No, we were the Commandeers that won the tour
2 years ago. Yeah.
So that's
Even this past year, like 9 games seems like a lot, but like that's how much we lost by.
Right.
Like, it was only 9 games out of 80 something.
there's only 3 teams.
And they may have
So,
stacked.
like,
they
you're
may have
playing-
stacked
you're
that
playing
just
the
a little
same
bit.
Team every day as well. So it's like that's
As
its
a
own
pitcher,
little-
that
that's its own little
sucks.
thing. Like
How'd you like to see him every day? I mean, you just get the rhythm of every 3 outs every day, and you get to see him in the 8th inning.
It could go either way though, because like he's gonna learn my weaknesses. I'm gonna learn his weaknesses, and that's what we're gonna fight for is to get those weaknesses. But like
I want to ask so bad, and we're not putting that out there. I'm not putting that out. Don't mention your weakness. Don't tell them what they did.
I'm not gonna say it.
No,
I'm gonna keep working at it.
I've taken enough pictures of these guys because a shout out to Jeff Imperial. He spoiled us. And
Without a doubt.
This is a group of they're called Day Oneers, and they all played baseball together from just a young age.
Yeah.
And so they still meet and everything. But Jeff spoiled all of the families because he would take pictures forever. He's in the TV industry and world. And what does he do?
production.
Production. Thank you. I was butchering it. So he's in production. And so then when I went to college, I'm sitting there like the first couple games, and after the game, I'm like, man, I literally in my mind, I went to go look at the pictures, and there's no pictures.
Is
and
that
so
why you started?
that's when I bought a camera. But I
And the
didn't
guys
buy.
at Valdosta loved it. He'd always send like a Dropbox or a Google Drive, and all the guys are like, "Nice!" Like we always have a couple hundred pictures.
Well,
that
actually,
Dad
what I did
taking,
was
like-
I'm not that Google Drive. I don't even think was around then, but maybe it was. But I just started a Facebook page, and I would
That's
do
what
like
it was.
St. John's 25. I think it's still up. I don't even know how to shut it down, whatever. But it has all, and I didn't take just of his like Jeff. I would take them others, and so somebody would be swinging, and they'd be popping up all day. Ross was not crazy about me. I was at every game. I just traveled for furniture, and I would time my traveling where I'd be out in Alabama when they were out there.
St. John's was only 30 minutes away. Too,
Yeah, so I
wasn't
was,
far
and I
apart.
love baseball, and so I'd be taking pictures, and I would get that one can take. It's not the, it'll do an automatic, but it's a little bit slower. So you had to time it. So I would get to learn people's swings and right when they hit and to take the picture. And then I'd look at it. Oh, I nailed it. I'd get it right before the ball hit the bat. And I got pretty good at it you're talking about 100 games. They got good at baseball. I got good at taking pictures. And, golly, what's the big boy that's playing down in Mexico?
Mayberry
was popping up a bunch. We were at a tournament and I think we were in Daytona. And because I was right by the field, I was like, Mayberry, come here for a second. And I I said, look, you're late, man. You're that leg. His leg went, or whatever it was. And he reset, started crushing the ball. Now, was that because of me? No. But it was.
Seeing video could help as an athlete. Like if he understands himself to be like, oh, that's the position that I was in. Yep. Like, oh, that makes a little more sense. So like sometimes
I could tell when Bam's arm was lagging. No, I didn't talk to him in baseball. You just let him do his thing because he would self correct. But it was fun. Any of the pitchers, when they were struggling, I could usually tell what was wrong. Now, I couldn't say anything. I didn't try to become a coach, but it was that taking pictures changed the way I watch baseball.
It's technically watching film.
It's watching film. Yeah. I mean, and then uploading them, and I would I'm a dork. I'd recrop them all, and so I'd be looking at the picture, and I'd remember the moment, and So you are on the Party Animal still,
correct?
Y'all have DBat that you're doing on a pretty regular when you're off season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have last couple of years. I mean, they've been awesome to us, and we get kind of a couple more every year that want us to go out to their DBat. But I mean, obviously, it's just how our schedules work because it is our time. We don't have to do it, but we like to do it for the communities.
And when y'all promote it, they promote it through them. You promote it, I'm sure, on your social media and everything. Give a shout out to your social media pages and everything.
Well, they're mostly Tanner Thomas _. That's TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Of course, if you Google Tanner Thomas Banana Ball or Tanner Thomas Party Animal, it pops up.
And then I think I don't really post on Twitter, but Tanner Thomas 04 Snapchat is Tanner Thomas, or no, Tana Thomas 04, I think, or something like that.
Will got to check.
I got a link in one of the everything.
So why don't y'all's generation use X?
I still think a lot of people do.
I mean, I do.
Yeah. I like it for research purposes. Like the community notes on X is really nice because then you can just like check to see if someone's BSing or not and see what the rest of the community is talking about or see. Because they're generally in enough situations, there's a smart, well-qualified person that jumps in the conversation and links some kind of paper or does something like
over Reddit.
I mean, I use Reddit a lot too, but I don't know. I like the free speech of X as well. Yeah. Just that, like, I mean, I don't comment or I don't really interact much, but like I follow a lot of strength guys on X, and so like I just go there to see papers and new stuff and hear what's going on.
All my time is on the other platforms, YouTube.
Oh my gosh, your social media.
Instagram,
How much time do you spend a week on social media?
Well, right now, not too much, just because I have taken a little break over this holiday season, but I mean a good amount because I want to scroll and find something that I can do also. Yeah. Because up until recently, like I posted every single day for about 2 years. Yeah. And I think that's helped my numbers tremendously. And then because that started with TikTok, and then like a few months later did it with YouTube. A few months later did it with Instagram, and then they were all flowing together. And kind of recently Snapchat and Facebook.
Do you have anybody and we're sort of getting off baseball a little bit because this is part of y'all's job.
That's a grind too.
Yeah. I know it because all that I do.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody, obviously they have social media people with the Banana Ball organization, but I mean, that has taught you, or is it more player on how to get better at editing and what works and what doesn't work?
I mean, I've learned just from doing it the last couple of years. But
do you watch your follower? Like once you do one, do you study the analytics? A little
bit, not too much. Like I know what my following is. It's funny because Will was asking about it last night, and I pulled up some of it. Like most of my following kind of just depends on what platform, but like YouTube not YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, it's like 75% female.
Right.
Is my
Tanner.
They don't care about baseball stuff.
Tanner.
I'm trying to work at doing baseball stuff so I can build the male following too.
They're gonna be haters.
But when that happens, like the females are gonna drop.
Right. Let the females come.
I'm trying to build both.
Let the females come, Tanner. Let the females come. It's okay.
Well, then whenever I get in a relationship, it's gonna be a really sad day for me.
Okay, so that's going to take a little bit of counseling. Yeah,
I would like both.
Working on the safety net.
how aggressive are some of these fans on the DMs?
Kind of nuts.
Do you go? I mean, do you blush sometimes? You go, good gosh.
No.
Okay, you've just seen
I
it
just
all.
try not to read those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
there's some because if you interact with them, that just opens up
Yeah.
the floodgates.
What about stalkers? Have either one of y'all dealt with those yet?
Yeah, there's been a couple stalkers.
Okay, we're not going to talk about.
There's been
Listen,
a couple.
I have guns. Okay, and we use them down here.
Well, I'll tell the story. I won't say any names, but
Okay.
I know Blankenship, Malden, and Porter and I.
Yeah.
We were all together in Cooperstown at the end of the year last season,
Yep.
and we had an exhibit. Exhibit, is that the right word for what we opened up in?
Yeah, the Cooperstown Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
did
we
did
have
like
our
a
own-
ceremonial cutting and
Right.
like had
Yeah.
a little
So
exhibit.
obviously fans were allowed to go.
Right.
The ones that were going to the fan or going to the game like the next day, but we were there hanging out. Went to the Hall of Fame, like memorabilia, everything, blah blah blah. But
We're in
wanted
full
to check-
uniform, so
Yeah.
we're bright pink.
Yeah.
so we can't be missed.
Exactly. So we were like, okay, well, let's check out the town a little bit because it's a really small town, like
Right.
one strip of stores and everything. And so bus left, we hang out in the town. We're just gonna Uber back or something, and we're going across the street to the Hall of Shame, check out some of that memorabilia. And there's some fans in there, and like we're like, hey, how you doing? Sign some autographs. Blah blah blah. I get a Pete Rose ball, so that was
Nice.
my
That's cool.
little memorabilia from
Sure.
Hall of Shame. But we leave the store. We're getting hungry, and next thing you know, there's a fan behind us. Hey, like stopping us, or
Oh, it's a he.
I'm not gonna say if it's
Oh,
a
okay,
guy or
got
girl.
heard. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So then, we're going to the pizza shop. We're like, oh, this looks good. Y'all hungry? Yeah. That person goes in, and then we're like, oh, okay. So then we leave, or someone comes out of the store. We get a picture with them. That person takes the picture, and then we just, well, let's just keep walking. Keep walking. They keep walking. Just keep meeting up right by. And then one little like turn, like they went down a little bit of a different way, a few steps. We book it.
We bolted
We just-
because
So y'all were walking.
for like 5 minutes. You just hear footsteps and talking behind you, and you're like, okay, this is
Creepy.
really, really
Yeah,
weird.
it's like,
And then we got out of their sight for 1 second. We just ran as fast as we could around the corner. We
Yeah.
had to lose them.
like I understand, like being
This was not the first encounter
no,
with this person either.
and it was like
We
it's
were,
like
we were
I
well
get
aware of what
it.
was going on.
It's like
It's funny.
you don't have to do that though. Like
Yeah.
you just got our
Bit
autograph,
much.
you got a picture. You're
Yeah.
gonna see us again tomorrow at the
Yeah.
game. Like
Do
we're
you-
trying to.
Are you getting a lot of the sitting in Publix and there's somebody staring, trying to figure out where they know you from? Have you
Not-
gotten there yet?
Not too much.
It'll
Not
happen.
too much, but
As
a
you
little
keep
bit
growing.
happens.
How do you stay grounded? I mean, because you're known. I mean, and you're going to continue to be known
I mean, I just try
I mean,
to be
as more-
myself. Really, I
as
don't-
more than Tender Thomas. I mean, let's get real. I mean, you're a good looking fella. You play great baseball, and it's a lot of fun. But you also don't want to get typecasted as just this player guy,
right.
Because
I
I know
do my
you to have
best.
depth, you know, and
I mean, I just try to be myself all the time. Like whenever I do post though, like I'm done for the night.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look at my phone really. I'm there to hang out. Like Dalton Malden will tell you, like we have a lot of late night adventures, like going to the beach or just doing something.
you know what I like is y'all's friend groups has not changed, and that
No.
says a lot about people.
Yeah.
I think that keeps you grounded.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like Will's probably the rarest. We were talking about this last night also, but like he went to Kansas for a long time, came back for a week for the holidays, and half of that week he's in Tampa. So it's like we do get our few days. And
Yeah.
JI, he's on the road also. We're obviously on the road.
Yeah.
Corey moved down south. Matt just moved down south. Lane's still in Jacksonville.
Now is Lane your cousin?
Mhm.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
I thought so. He beat me in darts. Lane beat me.
Layton and Chris are the only ones pretty much left here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously Chris, like he's at UPS, but like he works like a horse.
Yeah.
So like we only get the 1 day, 2 days during that week whenever we are here. And like we tried to schedule up our top of the tee thing yesterday for our little family friend reunion, and he was the one guy, even
The
though
day
he's the
winner.
closest
He
in
works
his
on
neighborhood.
Sundays.
In his neighborhood.
Yeah.
But he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
He did hang out with us afterwards. So
Yeah, he was there for the white elephant,
Yeah.
so that was
Yeah.
good.
we were literally a 2 hour gap that we needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Santa.
as you, I can't see him as Santa.
He works like it.
That is true. That is true. The boy got to put on some weight if he's going to be Santa, though. Has
Looks
he
good.
started putting on weight yet?
No.
I don't care. Hey, listen.
Put on some hair. I know he just
He
restarted.
got
but
off some hair.
Right before the wedding, he
Yeah.
cut it, but he had a mop going for sure.
I know he's going back for it.
Flow,
so-
it looked
Yeah, yeah.
good.
Oh,
Just gotta
man.
leave it.
I mean,
It was funny because he cut it because he went to get a haircut for the wedding, and Rachel was so upset that he cut it. But when he got it trimmed, Lisa and them, they're like, "You look like Lord Farquaad from Shrek,"
I love
and he
Bones.
wasn't going to do it, so
There's
he went
just
and got
no
it all
winning.
cut
Let me
off.
tell you something. That boy right there could live on the hot spot at third base. And I mean, he looked like he'd just be sitting there casual and he'd snatch a ball. I mean, just
And then he hit a nuke.
A
for being
nuke.
120 pounds.
thought he was a better
did
first
a
baseman.
nuke.
I agree with that. He can scoop really
Oh, yeah,
well.
he was literally just a freaking Spider-Man over there. Just no matter where you threw it, just reeling it in.
What a talent, man. We were around a lot of young men, but I think
There
there's
was
a lot.
great 3 years watching baseball.
But you know what's fun is, well, for me it was like y'all said. It was, I mean, I got to watch him from the when I first knew who Tanner was. At 9, I think 8 or
Probably
9.
Crush or
Yeah,
Warriors.
it was right before Crush, and
Yeah.
because we weren't in the inner circle there, we had to wiggle our way in.
Oh, we did too. I remember doing that too because I was on the B team for the longest time.
Yeah,
And you had Will Sarson coming in from Tampa, taking everyone's
I
spot.
know, right? Who is this Will guy? He pitches, he
Yeah, dude.
catches, he hits, he does everything. But did he put a dent? Is it still out there? Did they change the sign?
Oh, I have no idea.
Zach,
I don't know.
Zach hit one
got
bomb at OPAA, and I mean he hit the top of the sign. It was when that Watson guy was the African American young man, the little stocky guy who grew up before everybody else, and then never grew any. Huh? No.
What? His sister's Felicia.
Yeah, she's in the military.
Is it Deshaun? No.
Yes, Deshaun.
That's a quarterback.
That's a quarterback.
That's
Okay.
Watson.
No, he-
this was.
That's true. But I do think his name was. Anyways,
You guys all know this guy.
Oh, Vashawn.
Vashawn. Okay, see, I was
Felicia
calling
and
Vashawn.
Vashawn.
Okay, it was
Okay, yeah,
Vashawn.
that's what it
He probably named him after Deshaun.
He played basketball too, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
Maybe.
never.
Yeah.
He hit at 7th grade.
Oh my
He
gosh,
quit
okay, I
growing.
remember him
He
now.
was huge.
He was a
like
hawk.
Yes,
Like
I remember him.
6'2" and.
And Zach would
sixth
throw a
grade.
ball, and he would just crush
remember him
bombs
now.
at OPAA, and everybody's thinking he's going to be the next, big. And all of a sudden, he just quit the hype and believed the hype. And I did his dad's roof, so shout out. Whatever. Thanks for the money.
I do remember him now. He was a big boy
Yes.
because he was on JV when we were on varsity.
Yep. And actually, through Facebook and all, I always run across them all. They look all to be doing really well, and he's a nice young man. I've run across
Good
him.
for
and
him,
yeah, just a good
I haven't
family.
seen him in forever.
Yeah, but I mean, that's one of those guys that grows so fast at a young age, and then you think, dude, he'll be hanging out with y'all or in the MLB, and it's all you never know. It's always the dark horses. I remember when Bam was threw one into the dirt. Well, you and I were sitting there in 9th grade. I said, this kid will go on to play. You watch.
Yep.
And I knew it. I knew by the time he was 8 years old because he would hit like 3 batters, and they all thought we were like trying to throw inside. He couldn't throw a straight ball. He's a lefty. Do lefties throw any? Have you caught a lefty that's ever thrown a straight ball? Yeah, I mean, their balls mow. So here's Bam. I don't know how to coach pitching and a lefty, and I mean, he'd throw in that, and the thing was coming over the plate, and all of a sudden the thing, and it just tattoos all these little,
I got a question for you too
What?
after this.
Go ahead.
So how was the parents? Obviously, we were all in the ball field, and we don't have kids. And how was the parents with us growing up at our time, in the travel ball community? Was it toxic? Was it pretty?
You notice
wholesome?
where I always stood?
No, because I was playing ball.
I know. I was, yeah, but I knew where you stood. See, that's so sad. They were my heroes before. I was always behind the dugout. Or if y'all notice at Fleming Island, me and Dave always sat right there where y'all came in and out. And it wasn't just to be close to the field. It was the furthest distance away from the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have to get in with why Johnny isn't playing and Jimmy is. And they like to second guess. And, of course, y'all's first high school coach was pretty adversarial with some, his tenacity. I loved it. I thought he was hilarious.
You talking about Soriano?
No, okay, not your first. Marty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I loved him.
I love Marty.
He was a straight for you. Didn't have to guess what you were wondering, what he was thinking. But toxic. Let's see, more in the crush and the little leagues. There was absolutely toxic. Matter of fact, Deshaun's mama ripped me a new one for calling him out, sliding into second at OPAA. I was a dad. You know, they would have dads umpire second base, and you'd have and I'm umpiring. And it was a dead out, man. It was so obvious to me, but dust and everything, and so I didn't just no real. I mean, I'm not an umpire, so I'm not going, you know. So I yoked him out, and next thing I know, his mama's just jawing for the next 2 innings. I mean, at me, and I'm like, lady, I'm just a parent, you know. And
I can't imagine being an umpire.
It's the worst.
I tried it.
It's the worst.
Did you do it?
I did a tournament one time and I was just in catcher's gear back behind
Yep.
the guy, and that was the most nervous I was to make calls, just because like
Dude, yeah, it's tough,
you're
man.
never right, and so like you just have to not.
Well, you're
care
right
what
for
it's-
one side, but you're never right for
that's
the
what I'm
other
saying.
side.
Whether it's a strike or a ball, like someone's yelling at you. It doesn't
Right.
matter who it is or what it is or what you call, and you're like, oh well, I'm the bad guy here. Cool.
So it was
See,
toxic.
I don't remember
So
that
I-
when we were younger.
I say now toxic as far as our inner group, I would say no.
Well, probably not, but we were all buddies.
Yeah.
So like I can understand that, and the parents
But
are
as
going to see
far
more.
as far as me sitting over there with Dave and I'll tell you at Fleming Island, you want to know about talk? Well, this was after Zach.
It was a
I went to go
year
watch
or
your
two after.
grandson. I
Yeah,
went
we
to go
went
watch
to Justin.
Justin play. So I was standing there, and by the first base where we always stood, and Dave didn't bring a chair. And I bring my chair, and so he's got no leg. So I'm like, here, you sit, I'll stand. That's how it started. And I'm standing up, watching a baseball game, enjoying the game, and I didn't know, but I got a crowd behind me, the sidewalk right there. They're ticked off that I'm standing up. But no one comes and says anything to me, but they're mumbling behind me because they've been drinking. And I actually did this guy's roof. And I mean, next thing I know, he comes and stands in front of me, and he's literally butt to middle. I mean, he's like right up on me, and he keeps backing up, and he's being aggressive. He's drunk, and he's this little old guy, and heavy. And I'm like, how many times?
Oh, a bunch.
A bunch of times. I didn't even know what was going on, and then I started paying attention behind me, and I hear him all, and he
Like elbowed you.
No, he didn't elbow me. No, it would have gone a different route if he'd have touched me. But I did. I told Dave, I saw him coming. I said,
right.
Dave, I'm going to act like something great happened. And I'm going to go, wow. And I'm going to elbow the snot of this guy. Because I have great peripheral vision. And I did. I thought of him. I thought of y'all. I thought all that. One day, and I should have just worn him out. His drink was right there. And I told Dave, I said, I'm going to take his drink, his cup, you know, and
Wild, dude. So it is toxic. You're
Dave
toxic.
turned around, and the cup was gone. And Dave thinks I took it. And this guy literally got to where he turned around and is looking up at me, his belly to my chest, and he's like, you know, halfway. But yeah. He's not even looking at the game. I don't know how I didn't hit him.
It took a lot.
But I was leaning on God. I really was, because I out of nowhere. But Bam doesn't know this, none of them, but you can attest to this. We were sitting at Island Life one night, and I'm 300, I'm 280, 290. I sling furniture all day at that time. I mean, you know, I'm not the guy to go knock on, and I'm edgy. And so I'm sitting over on the far right. We called it the ghetto. It was right up there by the bar. There's just like 5 of us, and we'd watch the football games until about 6, and they tried to turn it into a club, and we'd start edging out. But it was a late game, so it was a good game. So we're watching it. And I was trying to figure out why I was getting DUIs, and I'm an idiot with alcohol. And so I would have a beer, and I had a big the pitcher of water. And they would put a straw in it for me. So I'd do beer, pitcher of water, beer. I didn't realize I was just an idiot with drinking. And so I was doing my science on how to drink. And I heard the place is packed. The music has started. The games they've turned down. We're irritated about that, but we're watching them. And I hear the door open, boom. I don't even turn around. I mean, y'all know Island Life. It's way in the back right corner. Mm-hmm. And this guy comes in, and I just hear loud or whatever. I don't pay much attention, but I can just feel it. I know it's coming. And sure enough, guy comes all the way to the corner, doesn't say nothing to me. I haven't looked at him, haven't turned around. We're watching
We
a
were
game.
just having a conversation.
He reaches between me and Dave and grabs my pitcher of water with my straw in it, takes it, and starts drinking it. I don't even budge. I don't even look back. I'm like, hey, Susie, if you don't mind, I said, grab me another water, please. And he's just drinking. Him and his buddies are back there, and puts the next water down. The guy goes to reach for it. I said, I swear to God, if you touch that, this whole place is going to be different. and he never touched it.
No.
That kind of verberation comes to me all the time. I got punched in Chattanooga, Tennessee 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Had a black eye. He has more of a black eye. But I was getting out of my white van. I don't drink, so my cheating is going to Crystal's and getting chili cheese pups. And I'm getting out of my van.
Same thing. Right.
And there's this, don't stay at Econo Lodges. I mean, I try to save money, so I'm pretty good. They stay at these fancy hotels. I pay for them. So I got pretty good at finding mid-range hotels that are nice and clean, but I don't have to pay a bunch of money. This was a bad choice. So the guy starts coming towards me. He's probably 20 feet away. He's sweating. He's got these big old eyes and little pupils. And I'm like, hey, man, don't keep walking up. I'm still at my van. I'm like, I don't even know what he's doing, but he's coming at me. He's got 2 girls, and they got a dog, a pit bull, and he's barking. I'm like, what the heck? He keeps walking. He's about 10 feet from me, and you're not getting within swinging distance. I don't talk much. And I'm like, I know that may surprise you. I was like, dude, don't keep walking up. So I dropped. Now I'm irritated because I have my glazed bombs and my chili cheese puffs, and I know they're all messed up. And I turn where my right leg is behind. I am showing you that I am now in a stand. And he keeps coming up to me, and I clocked him. And what I didn't do is I didn't finish him. And I only punched him once, and he went down. And I thought he'd get the hint, and I turn around, and he's back up on me. And he grabbed my shirt. That shirt you bought me? Ripped.
About the wood?
Yep.
What?
Ripped. And that's why I beat his ass.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, and he broke my necklace. He grabbed my shirt, and he's like spinning me around, and he's like, swing. And I just planted him, came the other way with an elbow. By the time the cops pull up, he's like doing that kind of a.
It's like nighttime?
Huh?
Is this nighttime?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, I drive a big white van too. So like I'm in Louisiana and I'm backing in at 2:00 in the morning because I drive long hours, and it's another bad one. And there's all these people sitting out, all these South Americans sitting out drinking beer after their day of work. And this girl starts following me as I'm unloading my van. And she asked if I has a lighter, and I'm like, no. Oh no, if I had a cigarette. I said, no, I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke trees. And she was like, you got any? I was stupid for saying that. You got any? No, I'm not giving you, So I go inside and I give her a lighter, and I go back out to get more stuff out of my van, and she's sitting there just sort of nodding. I'm like, what? And she goes, you 5'0". Because I'm in a white van. I had my hair cut really short, and I'm like, 5'0". I didn't know. So I sat there in my car, and I left because I was going to Texas. I left about 5:00 in the morning. As I'm pulling out, I knew you was 5'0". She's like, I knew you 5'0". You don't have to deal with that in these beautiful.
He doesn't need a white van. It just finds him everywhere.
Yeah.
But I will tell you though, I do believe in spiritual warfare, and I do believe if I don't think people realize just how well balanced a lot of you young men are. I was surprised sitting out to eat one night with Bam and the big boy, the blonde headed, good looking fella, big old tall guy.
Oh, Deep?
Michael Deep. Yeah.
Sorry, my name's. I'm not. So we're sitting here eating at a sports bar, and there's all these waitresses that keep coming by, and these young ladies, and they just Google eye, and these two are talking about protein and what they should get. And
Deeb's like the other half of my brain.
yeah, I mean, they're literally all into protein. And I'm watching these beautiful young ladies walking by, and they're wanting to be noticed. And I'm sitting here eating, just sort of chuckling inside. And it probably went on 10, 15 minutes, and they were clueless. And then...
I'm not clueless. You just don't care.
Okay. Well, I'd like to think clueless.
Protein's more important.
Protein's more important.
It's like I'm not here to see a waitress in booty shorts. I'm here to eat 50 chicken wings. So
and
that's
okay. Well, God
And
bless.
what's
Protein.
Wow, that has changed because you and I wouldn't have been worried about
I
the
would have been
chicken
kicked
wings.
off the party animals. What are you talking about? I would have missed a meeting because I'd have been chasing some skirt somewhere, thinking I'm an idiot. Do y'all? I mean, they deal with that stuff. I'm not trying to get into the dirt of Savannah Bananas or anything like that, but I mean,
we've got a lot of good guys.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to be known.
Guys can be dumb and frivolous and run around.
But y'all
and
have a
still
way of
be-
correcting each other, don't you? Because of your relationships.
They're not bad guys, so bad stuff doesn't normally come around. Like
And
really intense things. It's more so just like, hey, you can like slap out, hey, you're being pretty dumb. But like we're all close enough as well where like I would hold anybody on my team accountable to the standard that I would hold myself. And I feel comfortable doing that.
But I think it also boils down to the owner and who he hires. Because you can go hire a dynamic athlete that doesn't fit into the mesh of what y'all's organization is. He's tired after 12. I don't think they realize y'all work 16 hours sometimes signing. You don't leave until everybody a ball is signed. Is that correct?
For the most part.
For the most
There's
part.
a handful of guys that hang out longer than the others. But, I mean, even if I don't know how the recruiting really works, but, I mean, if you hang out with someone for 10 months, like, and you love what you're doing, like, I feel like you're going to do your best. It's really hard to get yourself out of the organization because it's such a great opportunity and you want to stay around. And so you're going to be on your best behavior for the most part.
So do you have 4 teams now? Are there 4? So there's
and I believe by the end of 2025, there's going to be 2 more.
2 more. Yeah. So the idea is y'all have actually, there's a league that's been started now. Is that correct?
2026 will be like the official start of the league.
Banana Ball Championship League.
Yeah.
And so his dream one day is to literally draft, and someone has to make a decision between the MLB and Banana Ball, which to me is absolutely, stay with me, is absolutely asinine. But that's the
Big
beauty.
word.
But watch this.
Point, yeah.
But hang on a second. Imagine this guy sitting at Ringhaver, with nobody around, and they got ladders and doing whatever he did back then. And imagine what they said to him back then. You're crazy. What, you're going to do what? I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, that's a joke. What are you talking about? And then you go watch it, and you go watch the talent levels, and you go watch the things these guys do.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to – the funny thing is I believe it infiltrates MLB.
Well, the MLB took over the golden batter rule. They're introducing that this year.
I rest my case. They're going to have to.
Oh, really?
Well, time limit, everything.
Once per game that you can choose a batter of your choice to go in at that time during the game.
Is it
Really?
legit the same exact? I think they're just calling it something different.
Yeah, and it's just one.
Yeah, what is it called? We have the golden batter, but they have the golden.
So
the
explain
gold,
just
the gold
those
bat maybe or something. I don't know.
Okay, so those
it's
that may
same.
not know, explain what the golden batter is, and then so they'll understand about MLB.
Well, it's just that any time throughout the game you get a choice of one batter can come in for a designated.
You can put him
at-bat.
anywhere in the lineup.
Anywhere,
or
you just plug
it
him
would
in.
just be that at bat. You're like, hey, wow, this at bat really matters or something. Cool, we're gonna go to our golden batter.
Do you take out the batter that was there, or is it an extra
Not
batter?
at the game. It's literally you just plug him in.
Okay,
for the
so,
one at bat.
so one
Takes
at bat,
over
he
the-
doesn't swing.
Yeah,
Like
like,
he swings.
It could be
in
the
place.
3-hole. Whoever's hitting 3-hole, they could hit second and third. Like you can hit a home run, go back, you're hitting again.
So it's just that person.
I didn't
gets
know
you
that.
hit
You're
for
just plugging 'em
but
in.
it's designated before the game. You have to
Okay.
know your golden batter before the game. So
Yeah.
you can't just be in the middle of the game and be like, oh, this guy's doing hot now. We're gonna put him as the golden batter. So it's got to be like a pre.
Right.
Do you have somebody at Texas that you've already got set up?
I have no idea. Who
Okay.
one of our hitters would be.
You just throw a ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it really is a really cool rule, but it typically happens like towards the end of the game.
Do y'all-
Whenever a big spot happens?
Do you have one main one with the party animals, or do you have multiple?
It
They
it
choose-
varied
they
a
choose
little
two,
bit.
Yeah.
It was between like Reese Hampton and Jake Skoll for the most part. I think Chase might have done it once or
Chase
twice.
did. At the end of the year, he was clutch. He was
Yeah.
on a hot streak.
It just
and we
depends
used
who's
him for a few.
the hottest at the time.
So let me ask you all a little inside scoop. I mean, did they stack the bananas because they were irritated y'all might have won the championship a few years ago?
Beats me.
Conspiracies.
I mean, I know
The
each
people
team's
wanna
going to
know.
change every year, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's called the golden at bat rule.
Golden at
For
bat.
MLB?
Yeah.
Yeah, one batter gets to take an extra plate appearance during a game, regardless of their position in the
That is
batting order.
absolutely taken from Banana Ball.
Yeah, it has to be.
Y'all should be impressed.
Well, they did the time thing too, like for pitchers, the time clock. I would assume we were speeding up the game, and then I forgot what team it was. It might have been the Cubs, but like they went out and introduced or like welcomed the fans into the game.
There's going to be
Didn't
more.
hear about that.
Like
I forgot what team. I want to say it was the Cubs. It was a blue team. but
That's
it was
pretty
like
cool.
They welcomed their fans into the stadium. I was like, well,
so
it's a
you've
lot like us too.
Like
and
Magic.
you've also had players that have come and played for Savannah for the Banana Ball, and then actually gone back and played in organizations underneath the MLB. Or is it vice versa? Typically, they'll be over there and then they come.
Most of the time when you're here, you generally stay your time out here. There's
Yeah.
guys that have
Yeah.
had different walks of life and different avenues that they played baseball, but for the most part,
sure.
it's like when you come here, like it's generally because you see the purpose and the like intent behind all of our actions, and like that's what you're actively trying to do.
I mean, who knows? One day it might be the same. Like, because we're starting to get college guys now, and they might be able to play this for a little bit and then do something ridiculous, and they get picked up or something.
But
I'm sure it can
year-long
go both
contracts make it
What-
tougher to do
That
that,
Yeah.
though,
also.
because you're invested for the whole year instead of like indie ball.
Yeah.
The reason people play so many teams is because you get released, you get picked up again. You get released, you get picked up again. You get put on waivers, you get picked up. You know, so it's like But here there's a little bit more security, so I could see that like incentivizes people to be around.
What is more fun, the baseball side of it, or the fans? Or can you really divide those two that clean?
I think it's all one package, in my opinion.
Because there's electricity when you. I mean, it's the way I explain it is there. It's like a rock concert and a baseball game breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that insulting?
No, because Jesse says the same thing, but with
that
the
may be
circus.
who I got it from.
Jesse says it's a circus or something,
Okay.
and then a baseball game's happening in the middle of it.
Yeah, he's probably a little more accurate. But with all the music and everything,
There's so many. There's characters. There's music. There's bits. There's dancing. There's people from the crowd.
you got the
There's
dad
a
bod guys
game.
running around, the grandmas running around,
That's what I'm saying. Like there's characters, and you have stilts, and
and then
Ziggy
you got the
with the
sprinter.
flaming bat.
Who's the sprinter?
Flash?
Flash.
That's Malachi Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got beat one time.
Huh?
That's all. I didn't know it either. Yeah, there's a video of him getting beat.
See the same guy that used to run for the Braves?
Or maybe it was the
No,
Braves
you're-
ones. that,
you're talking about the Freeze.
the freeze.
oh, Freeze got
okay.
beat.
No.
Okay, see, I got him confused.
This is
Yeah,
Flash.
this is
He
Flash.
he has not been beat.
Okay.
He's very fast.
okay.
I think he was. I mean, he got thrown out probably 3 or 4 times this past year, but on top of that, he had like 40 bags. Like
What? Okay, so I don't even know who it is. So that he actually plays as well. I'm
He's
like,
the designated runner for
he
the
used to play.
Bananas.
He played at FAMU.
okay, gotcha.
And TCC too, didn't he? Or I thought, no, was that?
He might have went to a different junior. He went to TCC though. I know he went to FAM and played at FAM for a little bit.
Might be thinking.
So is there? I don't want to know what they are necessarily, but like working on tricks. Are they working on? I mean, how can you up one? You can't double flip. How do you beat a flip?
I mean,
That's what's going to be
rack-
fun is watching this thing develop because there is something that none of us are thinking about that one young man y'all may have worked with or someone else is going to come up with some kind of idea.
Well, DR towards the end of the season started doing like side flips, ball in the gap. He would literally go to the side rack, did it a couple times, like
Barehanded backflip catches.
barehanded backflip. Like they're somehow they're gonna
I
plus it.
I want a little trampoline out there.
We've done a big
They've
trampoline
done
out
that
there.
before.
No,
Big
I've seen that.
trampolines
I
and
want the
stuff.
little one. So like and it won't happen every time, but if you had like one or two, and if they're in the right spot and you can literally run, hit that thing, jump up and catch it.
Chance of that would be insane.
I know, but what if it
be
happens? What a
awesome.
great.
You might as well just get moon shoes for that.
Yeah, little moon boots. be
Never
jumping
know.
around.
I mean, it is banana ball. You never
Yeah.
know. Do y'all are y'all really proud of what you do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
1000%.
Well, what is the pride? I mean, in reality, I mean, is it the baseball? Is it just the organization?
I mean, I would probably still be proud of it if it wasn't as popular as it was, but the people and how much they love it is definitely the pride.
That embracing of y'all when you're in that stadium, there's none but love. I mean, for what's enjoyable and is missing out is the toxicity. In y'all's game, it's not there as much. Now, I guess you get some
You get some
Savannah
chirpers.
guys that chirp at you.
Listen, if you're on the bananas, I mean, it's all love pretty much.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
2-3 years ago, like there was like maybe one party animal fan in the whole stadium. Now it was like
We
an
get booed all
80-20.
the time on our side, like on
all
our
the time.
dugout. We're getting booed. It's crazy.
And like, I mean, it was like now, like this past year, it was probably like a good 80-20 split. Firefighters, whenever they played, like people loved them right away.
Yeah.
So that was like a solid 80-20 split right away. And tailgaters are probably going to be the same boat.
Yeah,
like,
especially in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas loves their
prideful.
people.
I think that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah, we have family out there on your mother's side, and so they've already said, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So they go a year or two, or you really don't? That's not really y'all's thing. Like they'll go a year of like a shorter season, and then they go to a full season, or
Correct. Yeah.
so the firefighters
I mean,
will
how
be a
many
full
games do you
season.
have? Are you
Like
going to have?
33, I
Yeah.
think,
And then
this year.
2026, everyone across the board is going to have 60 total games, 30 home, 30 away.
Wow, that's gonna be fun.
And that's the league. That's the start.
Do you think trying to grab that many that many teams, that 2026? I mean, do you think it's going to water down the talent? Because it takes a special brand.
Yeah, I don't know.
So no one works with them on flips or anything like that. I mean, like one-on-one kind of a stuff.
Trick plays all came from the players.
So y'all sit out there and you practice, and so it becomes really authentic. But the dances, your first base coach is involved in choreographing a lot of those.
He does a lot, yes.
He does a lot of them. A lot of them are also player created.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like
Lee Alios.
Alios on our side, and like he's just a dancing madman. So he's always like coming up with different stuff or helping with walk ups, and like there's always we do a lot of the entertainment too, because I mean, if we don't like the dance, nobody's going to be into
Yeah.
it. So you're like, well, how could we make this to where we enjoy it a little bit more so that everybody kind of wants to do it? And
The
we don't-
farting thing, Bam, I mean, they have insurance and all, but that's a lifeline.
I'm a tailgater now, so
Okay.
I don't have to farties.
Oh, that's right.
Farties old boy right there.
That's right. That goes somebody
It
else.
does
now.
smell good.
Yeah. It smells like
Actually smells
it
good.
smells like cupcakes, but it's the most intense cupcake smell that when
You don't want to eat
when he
cupcakes.
does it on the bus or he does it in the dugout and it's hot and he's just standing right in front of you and you're like, bro, I have a headache now because you just lit a full candle in my face. Like it's crazy, but it's
Who is y'all's mascot? I mean,
Farty.
no, not yours. I know yours.
they haven't introduced
They haven't
one
introduced him yet.
The dude,
Okay.
the dude with the meat holding the. That's about it.
Yeah.
Gunslinger, maybe. I mean, it's Texas. There's so many things you can do with
I
it.
can't use guns. You can't have guns in anything.
Oh my
Not even
gosh.
They can be
finger- not even
spatulas.
finger guns, but he's got the
Oh,
spatula.
you
and
can't
the
do
fork or
that. You
whatever.
can't do anything.
You just be chopping
Yeah,
it
you
up,
can't be- yeah.
Okay.
flipping them.
All right. Well, Bam's not going to be a baker. He is a cook. So
I'm a cook.
Texas and cook. I told him I would love to see him pitching because a steak
Cooking on
takes
the
about
grill.
a minute and a half. And the way he eats them, and he's talked about seasoning them in between. Like once they hit it, you start seasoning that bad boy. I think, of course, if you follow, yeah, it is. See how easy I am to come up with ideas. Of course, you fall in on the coals. There's a whole other idea.
Yeah, the inning takes too long, and then my steak's well done, and I'm pissed.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like-
true.
Got to throw another one on there.
That's true.
Start over.
It was either that or an equation. Like him solving an equation while he pitches.
Oh gosh, nobody would want that.
Like a
You
math
may-
equation?
Bubba, do you know how many autistic mathematical kids are in y'all's stands?
I don't want to do math.
Okay, but you love math.
Rubik's Cube would be cool, though.
I
A
got
Rubik's
I-
Cube.
I got a degree, but that
Ooh.
does not mean I want to
Yeah,
do
your degree. You were supposed to design me a leg, and now you're out
I
playing
know.
baseball.
I was going to do prosthetics, and then it turned into a math major, and I don't want to do math. for
No,
my
and
life.
so your line for you in the future. I mean, is banana ball and enjoying all that is, but you ever look down the road and even past baseball? Either one. I mean, are you just living in the moment? That's not a bad thing necessarily.
I do try to be where my feet are
Yeah.
at all times. I mean,
I think it's how you get the
briefly
fullest
think about it.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to have an idea moving
Yeah.
forward, but definitely like it's all that really matters. Just
But you weight training and things like that in the future?
yeah. I mean, this kind of ruined me as a first real job because I'll never do anything that I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I just refuse to not be happy or have fun while I'm working. And
I think your
I know
generation
that's
does
a big
that.
ask, but like,
No.
I just refuse to. I've seen so many people like work miserably, and like
Yeah.
now I've enjoyed it for so long in the training, and I like the weightlifting aspect, and like obviously that's what helped me to recover from my shoulder and like has kept me healthy for all these years. So I think it's really cool that I would love to get into that afterwards and just help other kids get stronger faster.
So you leave your last game of banana ball. Your career is over. What do you want to be known for?
known for.
I know.
Shoot.
Don't think.
Throwing strikes and striking people out.
I
Throwing
love it.
hard. That's it.
I
I
don't
just
even
want to be a
know.
nasty pitcher. I
don't-
mean, after baseball, if that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
I don't know what makes you a Hall of Famer in banana ball, but I mean, whatever. Just being a really good
And so-
banana ball guy,
Yeah.
That's
being a spark plug, I guess. I don't know.
that's what I love.
I like that.
Is you got young men here. They're not playing in MLB. And to somebody that doesn't know banana ball or hasn't been around it, what is this? And here's men that are grinding in a fun league, trying to be the very best they can and want to be known as being great. And I think that's part of the grind. I happen to know the amount of time they work out and work on their craft, and it's a lot more than I even spend here. I mean, it's every day, the little time that he is home. He's out of the gym throwing with this one. And if he was in, he'd be throwing with that one. And in between there, he's finding somebody else to run with and work out. And I mean, you guys you got to keep your body in shape. And you're right. The extra pounds, like me, when I dropped all that weight, it made a difference on injuries. And I mean, you never got, you're just stocky.
I am thick.
You
I'll
are
say that.
thick. There you go.
But there is something every day that we do that will help us with
Yeah.
the banana ball career that we
Yeah.
have.
And I'll tell you from a man looking outside that has been in the business world and an entrepreneur on my own, you guys, each one of y'all are your own brand, and you're really running your own business.
Yeah.
I hope they teach y'all to start trusts and trademark your names and get them in the trust and start getting everything in that, so that you're set up to protect your brands.
Yeah.
Because it can't be bigger than Banana Ball. I mean, Banana Ball is y'all right now, but I mean, one day that game ends and then there's Tanner Thomas and he's not tender anymore. And then where do I go from that? And the skills y'all are learning today, the tenacity and the grind and how to get better at your craft, how to live in the moment. I mean, that has saved me. I mean, I've been at the edge of losing everything, multiple times trying to grind my way up. And I can't, if I ever turn around and look back, they're nipping at my heels.
Right.
I had one time that I had thrown every penny I had. It was when the stock market was exploding. I'd thrown every penny I had into, what's the one of the social media websites. Anyways, it'll come to me in a second. Y'all go, that's not the name, Brett. I'd thrown every penny I had, and that thing went from 50 grand down to 12, and I'd even margined. And it was when the stock market, it was when Trump first came in, and the stock market was exploding, except for Pandora. Go look at Pandora when Trump was born. I even remember where I bought it. I bought it at like 10.50, and it went down to an all-time low of 441. I have screenshots of all this. And I had like 50 grand, and it went down to like, I'm sitting there at 12 grand. I'm looking at your mom, I go, I mean, I can sell it and save the 10, 12 grand. I was sitting there. I was about ready to sell, cut my losses, and I just couldn't push that button because I knew what I had. I knew Cirrus and Pandora would merge, and it just wasn't my timing, so I had to hold. And I had to live in that moment, and I was struggling financially because we just opened another store, and so, I mean, I was just cash poor. And so I couldn't get to my funds because if I pulled out, I'd be, I'd already blown technically on paper, but, it's never a loss until you sell. And I'm telling you, I owe the IRS because I got a big check from Books A Million, kicked y'all's butt. They wanted to hurt us. I mean, you didn't know any of this. Dave did.
Oh yeah.
They were coming for us. They came for your mama. And had I not had that grind and tenacity, I'd have never been able to handle Books A Million. I literally brought them The Art of War. Read that book. I literally brought them to McDonald's on a Saturday morning. They were going to be moving us. Our Would You store. We were dying. They were shutting down everything on San Jose. They'd closed all the other stores, and so the center looked dead. Nobody was coming in. La Nopalera was gone. Traffic was down.
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and we were in, and it was a horrible economy regardless. So we were just tanked. I had 3 weeks, and I was going to be out of business. And I just lost everything. And I'd just gotten sober. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I'm going, all right, I remember sitting there going, all right, Lord, now what? Now what you going to do? You want me to do all this, and here I am. Next right thing. That's all I kept hearing about was the next right. That's all that kept coming in my head. Brett, live in the moment, live in the now. Because the past is full of regrets, and the future's full of worry. But when I'm in the now, I get to absorb the moment, man. And so I met them at I met them at McDonald's. They flew in all their fancy guys from Books. I mean, all these Rolexes and shiny suits and a bunch of attorneys. I mean, high-dollar attorneys. And I'm sitting with four of them. They start rolling out all these plans of where they're going to move me. And I'd purposely not shaved. I had my oldest hat. I had a big old dip in it. I made sure I didn't have the lid on or nothing. It was a Saturday morning. And he's going through the paper. Yeah, here's where we're going to move you. I say, I got a question. And I did a real long rednecks. I said, what does this mean? I slid my contract over. There's one little line that I'd negotiated in my contract. But I had let them sign all these national tenants and then on square footage. And you can't back out of those contracts with Earth Fair and Winn-Dixie and all that without any kind of legal stuff. So what my contract said was, you're allowed to move me, but you have to give me the exact same square footage. And I had let them sign all their contracts like I was some idiot. And then I'm like, well, do you have 9,117 square feet? No, but we're going to put you over here and we're going to rebuild you out. And it would have been a nice spot, but we weren't going to make it. I said, yeah, but you don't have 9,100. And he sat there and they all went from smiley and they're all looking down, and all of a sudden Bear looks, all right, Brett, what do you want? And I'd been waiting for this. And I said, there was kids everywhere on a Saturday morning. I said, $1 million. He started cussing. I'm not, what are you talking about? Just all of a sudden I was like, Bear, settle down. He'd been poking your mama, playing like she didn't know what was going on. And I said, so I was having a little fun. I said, Bear, settle down. You asked what I wanted. You didn't ask what I'd take. And he was an Alabama boy. And I went, Roll Tide, kid. You know, like that. And by then he knew in there, they weren't going to be able to get me to move. So they had to buy me out of my contract. And buy me out of my contract, they gave me a big old fat check, which was nice, saved our business. I was able to move, but it put me in a higher tax bracket. So I had to come up with $70,000 worth of taxes by the government. And here I got all my money in Pandora, and it's gone down to like 12,000. I'm looking at the government in another month and a half, and I had to live in the now. And I swear to you, I would have gone crazy because I'm living in. If I start thinking about it, I'm living in guilt. Oh, why did you invest in that? Why did you do? Why? There's no answers to the why. It's smoke and mirrors. And so by the time we were done, that Pandora took off. 2 weeks before I had to pay the government, and I made $5,000, and I got out. That was a close one. And Books A Million paid us and left us alone, and here we are.
And we moved in 3 weeks.
Moved in 3 weeks, and you had 103 temperature. He had pneumonia and was white as a ghost.
Oh, I had an infection in my foot.
Had
I was
infection-
sitting there wrapped in moving
Blankets. He couldn't, but I
said,
had the
Brett, I gotta go to the hospital. He's like, I need you for 3 more hours. Just sit there. And
Dude,
he made me sit in the store.
I had nobody. You got to understand, corporate would you in a way. Mr. B and them, I can't even talk to my dad because he'd meet me because people are following. I mean, he thought, I don't know. They weren't nobody following. But it just got weird. And he sat there with a moving blanket, and I knew I had no one else. Because I had to go from the old store to the new store, and I had to move the store. And I had a moving company. I had to run back and forth. And Dave couldn't even, he's just nodding. Hang on, Dave. Baseball translated into business. I do know that Dave Penland in height. I didn't have the height of y'all's careers, but Dave Penland at University Christian was he was a Marine drill instructor in his life, but he went on to become a coach, and he grilled it. I was a little old small tight end, and he grilled in me not to give up and to never quit. And that's I know Bam's story very well, and there's a never quit in there. And your life and where you projected, and then all of a sudden life shifts, and yet you find a way, and here you are now sitting probably in in my opinion, a better spot than you. The stress of MLB versus the stress of there's a stress in what y'all do, but it's not in if I don't hit well every day, y'all are a threefold. I mean, there's the entertainment part of it and everything. I look forward to seeing where y'all go. Not only in baseball in this organization, but as young men. I have people tell me all the time, this generation, I'll tell you, and I said, Bubba, I can introduce you, and I always use you, I can introduce you to 6 men that I know that have more character than I've ever had. And y'all, I don't know if y'all self-create each other, because I didn't have a group of friends. I had me and John, and that was us, and we're both knuckleheads, so we just knuckleheaded each other together. But it's just neat to watch y'all's mix. And then in baseball, to watch you as a leader on the party animals and the decision making you made, even on this podcast. I'm like, hey, you want a drink? I'll have a drink here, and you're conscious of that. You don't want people to know you. You want the children that are following you to know you, that you're a good person and that life has meaning. And I don't know. I think it's more than baseball, and I think y'all's platforms on social media gives you an opportunity to let them know Bam and let them know Tanner. So we'll post the links for them on there so that they can get to know you. Now, one more question. You said in college you were one of the highest you had some of the highest following on social media.
On TikTok.
Okay. How did you get that so early?
Well, technically, I got in trouble for it, but just me and my roommates and a couple of the other teammates, we all did a TikTok. It blew up, and back then it was a lot easier to get followers too. But we did the same trend 3 times, and each single one got millions and millions of views, and I ended up getting like 100,000 followers.
So how do you figure out today what kind of short you're going to put out or video you're going to put out? Is it all for entertainment, or is it for
memories and entertainment?
Yeah, because you're trying to gain followers, obviously.
For sure. So there's some videos that I do where it's like just me. It's like a TikTok filter, and I call those midweeks, just to put something out there, like letting people know that I'm still putting content. Yeah. And then for the most part, like weekends or something along those lines, like anywhere from Friday to Monday are like, I try to be my best videos.
Yeah.
Like we just did a Grinch video yesterday with all the friends. Like, I thought it was a really good video. It might not blow up. It might blow up. I don't know, but I posted that yesterday. Tonight, I'm going to post our yearbook picture trend where it's like before and after. I've done that 3 years in a row now. It's done well. If it works, it works. Also, like, it's a before and after, and those always do well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on a Monday. We'll see how it goes. But
Did you get your song done?
Still waiting on one guy.
I thought he did it last night.
Let's go.
He did
Do we
not-
want to call him out?
He did not send Noah Bridges. You're the
Noah
worst.
Bridges.
Respond to my text. Send the video.
What the heck? I mean,
And it's I'm gonna get it out before the new year. Well, I'm about to be in Savannah tonight, so I'm gonna drive over to his house and I'm gonna. Oh, he's home in Wilmington.
listen, what I want to have him
Will
sing
might
it
have
while
to
you
do
it.
it.
Throw
I'll have Will sing it.
Hey,
He's just gonna.
what
have
about
to
a replacement? That's
Lost,
what I'm
his,
talking about.
lost his spot. Yeah, Will actually have to use the bathroom. So
Okay.
too.
Well, okay, we'll do this. We're about to wrap up.
Okay, go
hang
ahead.
on
I
one
can hold it
second
then.
because I was getting to the end. Thank you guys. Y'all are very busy, and I mean that. I know you guys, but this isn't two young kids sitting with me. These are men, businessmen that are sitting with me, pro ball players. I'm honored. Son or no son, I texted Zach before he got here. I said, listen, you're not coming to talk to your dad. You're a pro ball player, and you are your own entity. And Tanner, to watch you blow up is a blast.
It's awesome.
It's a lot
It
of
really
fun.
is.
Other than all the phone calls. Hey man, can I get a ticket? Hey man, can I get a ticket? Hey man, no, I can't get you tickets. Okay?
imagine what our phone looks like.
Oh, I
people
can't-
I hadn't talked to since high school. Like I just get a text like, "I want tickets." Like so does 2 million other people. Like, sorry, dude, you haven't
drives me
talked to me in
crazy.
7
Yeah.
years. Like, what
Like-
do you think?
Well, like not that, but my dad will ask for tickets and not show up. It makes me so mad.
Oh my gosh.
He doesn't do it a lot, but when he does, I'm like,
That's funny.
Like my teammate had family come with dad, and you did not come. I could have gave him my ticket.
Oh,
Yeah.
your dad has been a huge support of your life.
Oh, he's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he and I. Now that is one man that anytime I was at the ball field, I would always edge my. To be honest with you, the whole day oneers, I enjoy.
Yeah, it's good company.
So
why
that
we're
that
still
was
around.
sort of how I got away from toxicity.
Yeah.
Toxicity. I would go stand and hang out with them, and then all the dudes would leave me, and I'd be stuck with all the wives. But that's okay. I'm in a woman's world in furniture anyway, so I can't swing a bat. I always wanted to go up against Zach. We may do it. I'm gonna let his arm get a little more hurt, a little older, a
Till
little
it slows
crickety.
down a little bit.
Yeah, I'll let Will call balls and strikes. We'll keep it really tight. And I mean, if I can just catch one hanging changeup and get a double
You
off
act
of
like
it,
I'm gonna throw you a changeup. I'm throwing you 3 inside fastballs, and you're not gonna get your foot down.
it's on.
Sounds
You
like
hear
this
this,
day is
right?
coming sooner than we think.
No, it's coming.
Plant that
Okay,
front foot
so
turn.
but all
Dude, I'll be
no.
throwing bullpens in a month. I
Okay,
don't
no,
wait
you
till
get warmed
April.
up. I'm gonna have one stipulation. Okay, I am wearing padding, just in case one gets squirrely.
That
Okay.
doesn't count.
That's so soft.
Okay. Well,
elbow
soft,
guard.
You can,
I'll
wear,
go
you, can
elbow.
wear you can wear a helmet and an
No,
elbow
I'm
guard
wearing
like a normal human.
No, think hockey coming up to
You're not
bat.
gonna be able to swing
No,
with
that's-
that.
I
Then
will.
you're definitely not.
Are you
hitting the ball.
catching or are you swinging?
No, I'm swinging with
Yeah.
hockey gear.
Just wear
Okay.
baggy baseball pants.
You've
and
never
you can put
caught
your
any of his
pads
ball.
under it.
Listen,
more
I'll
of
bring
an
Will on here. You catch one of his that hits the dirt, I know it hurts.
Well, you're hitting though.
I'm not 12 years old anymore.
I know. That's why I'm wearing the gear. Because he's gonna make it look like it's gonna hit me. It's gonna come in. I'm gonna look stupid.
Just start that breaking ball. Are you lefty or righty?
I'm a righty.
Yeah, that's all he does.
I know. It's gonna be behind my back.
Cutter.
I'm gonna start it at your front hip, and you're gonna think
It's
it's gonna
gonna
hit
tail
you, and it's
away.
gonna come inside.
But I won't even be in the. I'll be diving out.
You
That's
will,
the.
but it'll be a strike.
No, but you don't do that to your father. You give him an opportunity. Give me one shot.
You're talking trash, dude.
I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
I
it's-
won't talk trash till
just
after I
settled
hit it. All right, listen, I got to get these boys out of here. They got to get up to Savannah and get ready for the season. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe, like, share. These are more than party animals. These are more than Texas tailgaters. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of what they do as a living, but I'm just more proud as human beings. Thank y'all for spreading love and joy and fun out here, and I hope to get you back on here. Before then, though, we will probably have a remote where I am yoking Zach's hung change up.
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
see you soon.
Yeah, I learned to
Well, play it, Dave.
I
How am I going? That's a bad exit. There you go.
strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all
I
day,
love
you
that
know
song.
it's game on. My skin is thick as tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive.
pee so bad, and then I'll talk. Yeah, that'll probably be on there. Did you hit stop recording?
Now I did.